thing so I can rant.
I'll do it at the end of the
what
show.
stage? Are we gonna talk about?
Oh,
are we gonna talk?
Go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Monday Sound Stream. It is a packed house in our voice chat because Wheels is here from the start because he actually got sleep. So he's here from the beginning, which is awesome because I think that's a sound stream first, isn't it?
This is the second sound stream first.
Oh, that's true. There was that other.
At least the first of 2023, I believe.
Yeah. So it's awesome because we're full house. So we got Wheels, we got the Fighter Cows.
Yeah.
And then we got the Ryan.
Is your Agumon
hot.
figure? Is your Agumon figure still falling apart if you touch it?
Yeah, my shelf shakes every time I walk past it, so she's always falling a little bit. But otherwise, Angelomon's fine. If you guys hear fans in the background, it's because it's like
It's too
It's
hot.
hot. It's hot.
It's too.
hot.
I actually walked out there for like an hour, and I legitimately was scared I was gonna have a heat stroke.
I have a national heat advisory warning for my state. So
Wow,
yeah,
what
it's
is
hot.
that bad?
Thunderstorms. Today to tomorrow, so I might not even go to my freaking barbecue.
I have my air conditioner on because it was hot today. So
Then on
yeah.
top of that wildfire smoke was messing us up earlier. So
Yeah, Muteki T Wheels, you still mad on Ultimate Wave 4? I'm assuming Super 7.
No, I am super pissed. I hope all their other lines now fail just so they can feel the burn.
Because the thing, it's not their fault. It's the Power Ranger fans' fault. So start blaming the fandom.
That
Because the
I
thing
heard
is
that.
I realize, because this happened with the Disney Ultimates Way Forth, the Rescuers as well, is that I think that Super 7, while they've been really confident when they put stuff up, have now realized that minimum order quantity does exist. So even if it's made to order, they still have to have that minimum made. And it clearly, the Power Rangers line and the Disney line lost support enough that there wasn't enough to make the minimum.
I mean, that's what
I'm gonna be honest.
How
I think
bad, like, how low were those numbers?
It had to have been super low for Madame Woe and Tiger Sword to get canceled, because I have seen Transformers Ultimates go to clearance on like Entertainment Earth multiple times.
Well, those are already made, aren't?
Yeah, those were already made. What I mean is that the demand was really low for Transformers, so there had to have been like an insanely low number ordered for Tiger Sword and Madame Woe.
I think there's
and same for the Rescuers too.
I think the problem with the Power Rangers line is the inflation hurt these figures.
The inflation was
I
never hurt these figures. The problem is the Power Rangers fandom is the cheapest fandom I've ever seen in my life.
Well, because they don't
That's
understand
true
how. Well, because they just don't understand how super. I think even still they don't even understand how super.
They don't
Yeah.
understand it. I think one's inflation, one is they're not. One,
Well, because the
one
prices
is
stayed the same on the. We can't say inflation affected the Power Rangers line. The Power Rangers line was the same price from the beginning to the end. You know,
but
the
I'm saying
prices never changed.
Well, I know from other Super 7 line collectors, they said the inflation is hurting the overall collection of them.
But that's a problem with the
For
whole
Power
industry.
Rangers,
See,
for the fandom.
the Power Rangers fandom is the problem. Is you can't get Power Rangers fans to even buy $25 figures, let alone $55 figures.
So they're cheap. One is the Power Ranger fandom is cheap. Another thing I think is the fact that Super 7
Zeltrax, it's not about you. Don't feel hurt by that. It's not. We're not talking about you. We're talking about the fandom at large. Like, it's not you that we're talking about.
I think the fandom at large, like, it is the cheap side. I think the other issue that it failed in a sense is Super 7's need to wait the pre-order windows that it got delayed. Me and Ryan talked about it last Wednesday. Is the problem is they have too many licenses under their house now.
Oh, absolutely. They expanded way too fast because they just did anything they could.
They have too much that they have on their platter, and I think the way that they could have bettered this would have been to maybe put more accessories in for Zords. They could have found a way to do it. Because I'm more pissed that the Zords are getting canceled, because these are the Zords we deserve. These are the Zords Hasbro will never make for us. They will never make us. They proved that they don't want to make good action figure Megazords, because they were like, let's make crappy ass retro figures. So
well, the thing is that reactions almost pay for themselves. That's a big thing with Reaction versus Ultimate. Is Reaction almost pay for themselves because they're a lot cheaper to produce. But
I'm talking about the Power Rangers retro ones for Hasbro.
Those
crap.
Yeah, but those were paid for by Walmart. You know, the thing is, I think that you bring up a good point that like Super 7's the only one willing to do Zords. I'm mad about Madame Woe because that was going to be our first Madame Woe action figure.
Yeah, because the only figure we got of her is a mini.
Yep.
I think what's so bizarre is I think it's one, unlike with say like Rat King, for example, where that was that made, because that was legal.
That was it was a legal issue. But
they're still making. It's more like it's so weird that this happened all of a sudden, because like what like I never seen. The only time it happened was the Rescuers, but like at least that one I could kind of understand, because
the Rescuers just aren't popular enough. It's too niche.
They're cult. Yeah, they're too culty for having.
It's too niche for an $85 2-pack of the main mice.
Yeah, like it's like the Ranger fandom. I mean, this is the problem with the Ranger fans. Like they keep asking, we want Zord figures, or we want more female characters, and yet two of those have fallen off the face of the map.
Yeah, and that's the thing I noticed too is with Power Rangers, the fans demand things. They finally make the things the fans demand for, and then those things clearance out, which either means the actual demand does not exist, or the fans don't actually want to put their money where their mouth is. This is it's a very similar issue to the DC movie fandom online. They hype up a movie so much, and they're like, "Oh, this is going to be great. We're all excited to go see it." And then the movies bomb super, like, have massive bombs on the like they have a massive bomb at the box office. And so the thing is that it's clear that whatever the online demand is does not translate to reality.
Like, how much?
No, like that sucks, because with Super 7, right, they have good quality, but their biggest problem is just that I don't think people understand there are collectors here, because problem also is they also do, as even you said, Sound Out, the problem is they make them too toyetic-y.
Yeah.
So people think that they should be cheaper.
When the thing is, I think this is also the biggest misconception, is that people, for some reason, think Super 7 is like this high-end indie company that's making like figure arts stuff or Mafex stuff. No, they're kind of in the same camp as NECA, and they're just a little bit more expensive because they're a much smaller company.
I think what was the problem? I don't want to say failure, but like the fact that I don't want to say failure to Super 7 Power Rangers line, but it kind of feels like it. I think the failure of it, with at least the fan, is the fan trying to make the two Lightning and Super 7 compete with each other, even though they're never competing.
That's I think one of the biggest problems too, was the fandom pitting them against each other, and instead of realizing how they could complement each other really well. Because the Lightning monsters were in the same scale as the Super 7 Rangers. So for all the people complaining that the Lightning monsters were too big, they made bigger Rangers that would fit with them. And then they had Zords that would fit with those monsters. They really could complement each other well.
Just go to my photos on Twitter and just pull them up and show
I
them.
can't, because Twitter's busted.
Just send them.
Yeah, but like for example, like it's so weird that the Power Rangers fan did that, because the TNT never did that with Super 7 and NECA, because specifically Super 7 toy, modern version of the classic Playmates toys. NECA movie and cartoon accurate figures. They never compete the two. They compete. A lot of the turtle fandom kind of.
With high end, $50 is high end. Zeltrack's Twitter is working on and off. I've been having issues. $50 is high end when you're comparing to like $25. But if you look at NECA, who is also a smaller company, their figures are running $40, $45 now. So Super 7's not that high up above them, but the Super 7 stuff is a much lower run, but then usually a higher accessory count. It's all logistically weird, because the industry went from being where everything was affordable, everything is too expensive now because of COVID. So now, when Hasbro jumped from 20 to 25, everybody that was sitting at like 35 jumped to 40 or 50 or 55. That's just how it's been going.
I'm just going to DM you tweets in response to the whole issue.
Super confused as like somebody who doesn't follow it as close as you guys, and I'm just like, oh man, what happened here?
The COVID screwed up the figure department. Now companies can't even afford to make figures because they're so behind.
And that's what Super 7's running into, I think, is that they are having.
Oh, okay.
They're trying to. I think Super 7's trying to avoid bumping the price from 55 to 60, because they know that'll kill everything.
I think what it is I think people don't realize that Super 7 and NECA are not domestic toy companies. Sort of like they ship everywhere, like shipped to Walmart and Targets and all over the world. They are very specific.
Yes.
They only go to certain places, and
like they don't release, because Super 7 Ultimates are all made to order, and then anytime you find them at other retailers, it's because they ordered from Super 7. And then NECA has a bunch of exclusive problem, because they're trying to get their stuff into Walmart. They're trying to get their stuff into Walmart and Target, and in order to do that, they have to give them all these exclusives, which is why it's kind of an issue.
I mean, like,
for example, one of the problems is that if the orders that like we pre-order through Big Bad Toy Store even counted towards the numbers.
They do count towards the numbers.
Okay, I wasn't sure, because I sat there going, "Yo, did this not attribute to?"
I would say that all the Entertainment Earth, Big Bad, all those other orders account towards the orders. So the thing I think that may have happened is Big Bad, Entertainment Earth, all of them ordered less. Less people ordered from Super 7 directly, and it brought the numbers down where their guaranteed sale was way under the minimum order quantity. And they're like, we can't afford to do this, because if it's under minimum order quantity, the price per unit goes up. And if the price per unit goes up and they can't increase the price because they already got people paying in advance on their site, and they can't get, retailers don't want to have the price go up either. Then it's just, you can't make it. Like, the order numbers on all these must have been so low.
You know what sucks too is I still have videos that I had recorded in advance for this line, and I'm so pissed now because like, I still want to put out the content eventually, but without having
because we don't know the line's dead, but I'd say Tiger Zord and Madame Woe not going forward is probably a bad sign. They are still making White Ranger, which I think, my guess is that White Ranger sold enough, but I also wouldn't be surprised that they're like, let's just take the hit on White Ranger so that way we finish the Ranger team for people.
And I'm kind of pissed because I wanted my Zords.
Yep.
I wanted the Zords the most.
I wanted my Madame Woe, but that just didn't seem to happen. I will say before we kind of button this up, because we did just spend 15 minutes on Super 7 stuff, Super 7, I think, is going to be going through some changes for sure in the very near future, because if their Disney line, I don't know what's going to happen to their Disney line. And I kind of...
get to the good shit.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what to, sir. And then the Transformers line, I'm pretty sure, is probably dead too. Even though I don't think they're going to cancel any of the figures they've announced because it's been long enough since they're starting in production. I do think we're not going to see any more Transformers because those have just been clearancing bad.
I think honestly the biggest problem with the biggest problem with Super 7 is I think they're announcing stuff way too early into the pre-order because again,
the problem is the way that they work, right? They are made to order, so they have to get the orders in before they start production, which means because this is happening with every toy line, everything is taking like longer to produce. It used to be 18 months was like your sweet spot. It's now almost 2 years for anything. This is a problem I have with Mezco and Mafex as well, where I was waiting like 2 years for figures to come out. And so Super 7's on that same track because the bigger companies like Hasbro and Mattel will force their stuff through factories, so any smaller company gets pushed back. And so Mattel and Hasbro have been putting out, so it's kind of like a whole industry problem. Mattel and Hasbro are putting out so much product that they get pushed to the front of the line, so then it pushes the smaller companies back, which is why Mezco Superman that I got a couple months ago was 2 years out from when I pre-ordered it. And the same thing's happening with Super 7, but Super 7 has way more figures than Mezco or Mafex does.
What was the gap between the Superhawks? What was the story of the Superhawks again? They was it 2 years in making?
2 years in the making for Silverhawks.
But then Wave 1 got delayed ahead of time. Okay. So Wave 2 came first, and then we're not getting Wave 3 until next year?
Contextualizing it with Silverhawks made me understand what you're saying.
Cool.
Now I get it.
Now you get it. Yeah.
I think that's, because, look, that's why I have not bothered by any Super 7 stuff. As much as I do like a lot of their products, especially the Turtle stuff, I can't sacrifice money to wait to deposit such a big amount of money for stuff I won't get into 2 years later, baby.
That's why I buy all mine through Big Bad Toy Store, because I'm like, I can't pay this ahead of time. I gotta wait.
It's too much of a gamble for me.
Yeah. It's 100. Like, collecting Super 7 is 100% like a marathon with a lot of patience. Like a lot of patience.
I don't know what Astronaut is referring to, because Super 7 uses pretty good plastic quality.
I would say, again, just like I've been saying, Super 7 plastic's on par with NECA or a little bit sturdier. I think NECA... I still had issues with NECA stuff breaking, but I've not had... I do have problems with looseness, though. Quicksilver is having no luck standing.
I think what the thing was, what a lot of people say about Super 7 and NECA's quality is they're not familiar with that type of toy. Again, how many Power Rangers fans broke their Super 7 stuff because they didn't realize that
they broke Goldar because they didn't heat them up, and also the fact that the wings were designed as poorly as the Hasbro one.
Yeah, the wings were poorly designed, but the neck joint, I was like, oh, you guys didn't like. And this is the thing I don't think about because I'm so used to this, but like a lot of Power Rangers fans are not used to art house toys.
I think a lot of people don't realize.
Which Super 7 are art house toys. Lightning Collection is a kid's toy line that happens to have a little bit more budget in it.
It's 4+ on the box. It's meant to be front of the wall. For example, like
even though Lightning Collection's been having breakage problems, it's a whole different discussion. But most Hasbro collector product is 4+ product that's just plussed up a bit. Whereas stuff like Super 7, NECA, Mezco, all them, you got to be a little bit more careful with them. You can't just be playing with them like they're toys, because they're more collector's action figures.
And again, the weird exception is McFarlane. Todd's again is always the weird asterisk in every single conversation. But yeah, no, like
I will say, going back to like the paint thing, it's definitely Super 7's paint schemes are a lot simpler because of the style they're going for, and that's I think that's kind of where we're at, where it's like you're getting a figure that you pay $55 for. But it's really like a $35, $40 figure that you're paying $55 for because of the limited run. If that makes sense.
So, like, a Megazord, man, they didn't have to use all that metallic paint, but they sure as hell did.
I mean, the Silverhawks have too much paint on them. Silverhawks have too much paint.
It's for example, for video game people, if the reason why limited run game stuff, it costs a lot more than they should be because they're limited run. It's kind of they're kind of doing it at a loss. Kind of is that kind of sort of thing.
Yeah, they're kind. I'd say a lot of Super 7 stuff is done at a loss. But so to see them canceling stuff means they just literally couldn't afford to make them. It's really bad, and I think it's also really bad for Power Rangers that a Mighty Morphin focused line that had one of Tommy's Zords in it couldn't get its way to production. That is a bad sign for the brand as a whole, if I'm being totally honest.
Not to be going too off topic, but I think Power Rangers, the fandom this week has been very out of control, I think.
I do want to address this. Because Tokusatsu cosplay, we will have a July 10th stream, because that's next Monday. The Power Rangers fandom, Simon Bennett, I think, deleted his Twitter. Probably the best thing for him. That man has been obsessed with replying to everything. And also we found out that Andrew Lang is not playing Zed in Cosmic Fury because the fandom was
harassment.
Yeah, he was harassed online and didn't want to take it anymore and said, "I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore." And I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, Power Rangers fandom, you deserve this franchise going on a break because you do not deserve this franchise with how everyone's been acting. Like it has been ridiculous. Like I don't want to interact with tweets about Power Rangers because of how bad it's gotten. So I got to say that in general, when we're talking about Power Rangers, we're going to stop the discussion on this to get to the other news topics. Power Rangers fandom needs to do better. And maybe a complete break from the show and a complete break from the production team being active on social media is exactly what's needed. I do wish Simon Bennett wrote a blog, though, because he deleted a bunch of cool behind-the-scenes stuff. So, apparently, fans didn't like his Lord Zed voice and were harassing him for it. And he said, because Simon's known Andrew Lang for like 30 years. And he said, Andrew told me that, it was just one too many comments of "you ruined my childhood" before he didn't want to do it anymore. So, yeah. NECA's doing figures based on the dinosaur sitcom, and that's amazing. So good for them. All right. We basically just went over Power Ranger stuff, and I addressed that Simon Bennett has seemingly left Twitter, hopefully forever, because I think that's the best thing for him personally. His mental health will take a huge benefit from not being on Twitter. And Andrew Lang's not going to voice Zed in Cosmic Fury because he got harassed during Dino Fury because apparently people didn't like his Zed voice. And the thing is that no one's gonna live up to Robert Axelrod's Zed, but that's not Andrew Lang's fault. And Andrew Lang has done so many good villain voices for Power Rangers that people harassing him is just frustrating.
Because even in season 2, his voice actually got better because I think
Oh yeah, Zed was once he had to take some more time with it, and the direction helped as well.
Zed was only one episode in Dino Fury, so you didn't really have time to kind of perfect the voice. So when he came back for season 2, you definitely got much a hang of the voice.
So on that note, I want to get onto the news topics, and we got to transition from talking about Super 7 having to cancel Power Rangers figures. Today's theme of the news is hubris. First of all, here's Super 7's Cat Slayer preview for their Thundercats line. I want everybody to know that doesn't know this already, that is a 7-inch tall action figure sitting in that chair. What the actual hell, Super 7? I'm not sure, A, how this is going to sell, and B, how they expect anybody to buy this.
All right, so
I'm sure people will, but I am not buying this. I want to make this very clear. I love Thundercats. I love it deeply. I bought the Thunder Tank. I cannot own this. This is too big.
Yeah, because, like, thinking of scale, if that's a 7-inch figure, that thing has to be about, like...
That's just the top
20,
floor.
Yeah, and that's, like, this has to be, what, 20...
I measured proportionately. Proportionately, if it was the same proportion as the LJN vintage one, this would have to be at minimum 45 inches tall. It's bigger than that.
That's like 2 foot, right?
No, that's like 4 feet.
4 feet, my god.
So the thing is that it's almost 4 feet was if it was proportional to the LJN. This is way bigger than that. And I don't... Like, it's cool because it looks more, like, scale accurate to the show, obviously. But this is just insane, and I cannot... there's no way I can fit this in my house.
That's even bigger than Snake Mountain, right?
Oh, absolutely. And Snake Mountain was $600 5 years ago. I don't know how much this is going to cost. I will continue to cover it on these live streams because it's kind of cool to talk about this. But I'm thinking, like, this thing's going to be bigger than my Marvel Legends display.
Realize, if this gets made, the only reason it's getting made is just because Thundercats is an abysmal franchise. Like Thundercats, but, like, has nothing. So
I have no idea how this is going to sell.
The only way
I'm assuming it's gonna somehow.
The only way I can see them doing this is they do it in parts, like maybe parts. Like you pay this amount for the first half, and then we're later like made available the second. Like that's the only way I feasibly think they could sell this thing.
That would make the most sense. Someone did say this, and they said we need to stop making play sets for 6-inch or 7-inch action figures and go back to making dioramas. Because if this was just a diorama without having to be attached to a giant castle, I would probably be more into it.
There's a reason why. Most of the big the best play sets out there for action figures are usually for smaller scale figures.
Yep.
Because
when they were teasing this, there was a toss up. Could it be a reaction play set? But nope, it's clearly an Ultimates.
And because you think. You have to be really dedicated to not even just for Thundercats or any line to do because you think when they did Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull back in the day for classics, that was at least kind of feasible because while those places are big, they made
it proportional to the original vintage toy.
There were like Castle Grayskull, like classic Grayskull. It was a pretty confined playset because I think it helps that the whole folds in and out.
And even then, I can fit it on one of my 6 foot wide, 4 feet deep shelves that I put things on. This will not fit that.
Because that's the nature of the Cat Slayer design. Yeah. It's a Sphinx practically.
It's tall, it's wide, and you turn it around to get the playset feature.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the biggest thing I think in the big toys. I don't know how they're going to do it. There's probably going to be a meter. There's probably a minimum order thing. I don't see it going straight to production like the Thunder Tank was. That's for sure.
Yeah, because at least with vehicles, you can possibly you can easily do that a little bit more. Like they would still be gigantic, but at least they're not a base. They're just a vehicle the figures can ride in.
This is going to be taking up more floor space than the tank will. Yeah, Galactus. Like Galactus is going to get probably dwarfed by this. Like you can probably hide Galactus behind this.
I think we're more also because for comparison, Barbie playsets, the kind of only thing you can really compare. Those are usually made out of pretty hollow plastic to save the cost down. If this is gonna be Super 7, it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna be like Castle Grayskull or Snake Mountain. It's gonna be hard.
The Thunder Tank weighs 35 pounds.
You can kill
Thunder
someone.
Tank.
You can kill someone. You drop this on top of their head.
Yeah.
If probably.
I think that's probably good on speculation for this because I need to see the full product release.
Like imagine there's someone breaking your house.
Spin Dash. That is the weight out of the box.
If someone breaks in your house, you could just Home Alone it and just drop your Cat Slayer on top of their head.
Yep. All right. So speaking of hubris. Mattel Creations, Jurassic World's The Gate crowdfunding project. I have no interest in this. I just thought it was really amusing. So I think we're hitting a point where Haslab started. Oh god, the stream's dying. Come back to me, connection. Mattel did not want me trashing on their thing.
No, oh yeah,
we're good. All right, so
we're good.
Guys, I think we're getting to a point where these crowdfunding campaigns are just getting dumb. I'm going to be honest.
All
right,
let's go. Stupid thing I've ever seen.
Let's go through the details. First of all, $250. Second of all, 5,000 backers. 5,000 backers gets just the gate and the Ford Explorer. Back at 6,000, they get a post-electrocution Tim figure and the fences. 8,000, you get the T-Rex from The Lost World, which didn't even have this gate in that movie. And then at 4, you get a Lex figure and a goat with a removable leg at 10,000 backers. This picture right here is a lie. This right here is the full thing if they get to 10,000. But they're running like it's been only at 5,000, you know? This is the same problem with Eternia. They showed all the bonuses in the front picture. So there is the gates, 20 inches tall. They're motorized to open automatically. These things I think you could only get if you backed it in the first time frame, the little signs for Jurassic Park. The Jeep comes with it, but that looks like just a modified version of a Jeep that's at retail.
Yeah, I've seen that Jeep multiple times.
Yeah, it's like a little more detailed. The goat is cool, but that's again 10,000 backers. She's only with 10,000. There's the goat again. This T-Rex is just a repaint of the Hammond Collection T-Rex. And then Electrocuted Kid is also a backer thing.
Wow,
if you only get to the base tier, it's just a gate and a Jeep for $250. A Jeep you can buy in stores for like $30.
I think here's the thing. I don't think the idea.
There's 23 days remaining. I don't know how this is. It's not going to make it.
I will say this because I don't think the idea of the crowdfunded figures are a bad thing.
Yeah.
I just think that one company, I think, a little bit abusing it too much on things that I think. Because here's the thing. I think the reason why I think stuff like the G.I. Joe ones, the Transformer ones, and Eternia did well is because I think those are at least holes that people want. People want those. For Transformers, people want the Unicron Star Saber and Deathsaurus.
This GIF is sending me though. This GIF is just perfect. Yeah.
Eternia, people want Eternia because either because the original playset was so hard to get and isn't it's gonna cost as more than the Kickstarter, the crowdfunding.
What the hell? Somehow we ended up on intermission. Oh my god! All right, yeah, go back to the thing you were making.
Yeah, but I think stuff like this, the Flame Darter, it's one of those I think people will like these. But I think the companies are experimenting too much from these.
Mm-hmm. Oh, those way too much. Because someone said this. They said you could just make this thing out. You could just make this thing out of hollow plastic and just have the gates, manually open and be hollowed out in the back, and everybody would love it. And you could sell it for like $40.
Yeah, because not saying people
just use for the gates at least. Do you have a toy poodle or a Pomeranian?
Yeah,
not saying people not saying like Jurassic Park fans, toy collectors don't want this, but like the way they're doing it, I just think is a.
You know what the problem is? You know what the actual problem is? This 32-inch tall Brachiosaurus was $65, and I bought it at Target.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if this is the same one as the one I got. This might be different. I think the one I got was like $50. There was a giant, huge 32-inch long Brachiosaurus that's just at retail. And then they're like, let's sell a 20-inch gate on Mattel Creations.
That's like, it's a gate. It's thin. It's not gonna be super.
I think they're also. I think they just also put out the. Sorry, I got on the wrong page. I think they also just put out a Hammond Collection one Yeah, here it is. Hammond Collection 1's 85, and it's like the same size, but actually articulated. I don't get this. Like, the thing is that if the gate was the first big thing that Jurassic had done, that would be one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it isn't. They've already done big stuff at retail. This does not need to be a Mattel Creations thing.
For affordable prices, also.
Hey, Matthews Laura, thank you for giving a like to the stream. Everyone else should also give a like to the stream. I appreciate that. So, yeah, no, this gate thing, and everything seems so repetitive, and the coolest stuff is locked at, like, you know, the dead goat is the coolest thing, and it's at 10,000 backers, which it's never getting.
Yeah, I think really is I think why especially the Joe ones do well is prioritization, because they are honest and like they show what you like, what comes with what,
and they feel worth the money. So but speaking of liking videos, go check out my videos from last week in case you guys haven't. There was the Figurized Standard Anjumon and SH Figuarts Anjumon combo review, the Blu-ray DVD haul for Q2 of 2023, as well as two YouTube shorts, being one about Inferno Girl Red, new comic, and the Ultra Action figure of Wyndham.
I love that your DVD haul video just became a mini review for Anime Quantumania.
Yeah, basically, that's the Blu-ray hauls have just become mini reviews at this point, and I kind of like that. It's really fun. Someone did bring up a good point. G.I. Joe doesn't have to pay licensing rights. Yep, that is also a factor in the price. That's for sure.
I would say that. Thanks for making me save money on getting an Anjumon figure.
You're welcome. Yeah, in case anybody doesn't know, the Anjumon's not a good figure. Go find out why.
I honestly think they could do her.
Has the same ability of a loose collector, heels, at feet, and stand.
At least the biggest problem is her tassel. The tassel on Anjumon. Go watch the video to find out what it is.
I think they could do her in feet.
Sure, her feet suck.
She can't stand on her own without the stand.
Oh yeah, I saw the video. Okay.
And by the way, guys, with the gate, you don't get the T-Rex until 8,000 backers.
Really?
Maybe my inner Quentin Tarantino was just like, yeah. Wait, no.
You're like feet.
So, like, I think like Anjumon could work as a figure standard if they make her a little more expensive, because I feel like being a molecule with more lighter plastic, it's technically more hollow. They could make her like these feasible. Let's see that. Like, I just question how did they design those tassels to be that so heavy.
Mm-hmm. So on that, continuing our theme of hubris. So remember when In Circle said they didn't know who owned Sonic Sat AM last week?
Yes, this is gonna be great.
Hey, guess what? In Circle's releasing Sonic Sat AM on DVD. For those that didn't join us last week, we went over a series of tweets about how someone emailed In Circle asking about their Sonic Underground and why it wasn't a Blu-ray, like an SD Blu-ray, and they said there's no reason to release things on SD Blu-ray. We don't want people to have to pay more for it, and I'm going like, that's the dumbest thing I've heard. And then they asked, oh, what about the rights to the other Sonic shows that haven't gotten modern releases? And they said, oh, what about Sat AM? And they said, oh, we don't own that. We don't know who owns that. And then this week, here's a new Sat AM DVD from In Circle.
I have a feeling I know why they respond that way. Well, one, maybe they couldn't legally say it, but two,
but they shouldn't have said anything at all because they weren't answering every questions.
I think I know too. They probably don't realize that's the fandic name for this series, because technically the show is just called. The show is just called Sonic the Hedgehog. The Saiyan Empire was a fandic name.
That's true. They probably didn't even know what they were talking about.
Yeah, because they don't even they don't probably follow like a lot of fan forums and stuff, so they don't know that.
Yeah,
the show was because the reason why it's called Side AM because that it aired during Saturday mornings during its release. Yep. And that's how people, in order to make figure out which one you talk about, your Adventures or the other show, they just nickname it Saturday AM. So that's probably the only reason why they probably said no, because they go like Saturday AM. Did we miss one? They probably just look at their notes. They probably went their notes and like, I don't know what these guys are talking about.
I saw it mentioned in the chat. I own a Mafex Nightwing as well. He's like the best Nightwing figure ever made. Anyways, guys, there's some funny stories with this thing. We're not done.
An Invincible figure though.
Wait, what?
What?
I couldn't...
Invincible, which you said Nightwing, so I was thinking of the other Grayson.
Oh yeah, Mark Grayson. I wish we had a good Invincible figure. We just have a Diamond Select one.
Are those not good? I'm assuming
they're Diamond Select figures. Good as what you make.
I have a Diamond Select Bruce Lee, but I never took him out the box.
Probably for the best. So this artwork is from In Circle's previous Sonic the Hedgehog DVD volume called Sonic Supersonic.
Yes.
They've updated a little bit. Hey, I'm just glad it's not Ken Pender's art, you know?
Yeah.
Now, here's the biggest problem with this set. First of all, 26 episodes on 2 DVDs.
Do this.
Strangle me now. I will definitely be buying this to cover it, but oh my god.
Yeah, compared to the Shout Factory, this was 4 disc.
They did 4 discs for Sonic Underground, but only 2 for Sat AM. Also, there's no bonus features, and here's the bio for the series. Sonic, voiced by Family Matters' Jaleel White, is back on planet Mobius using his supersonic speed and teenage irreverence to thwart the comedically despicable Dr. Robotnik. Sonic's idolizing little buddy Tails tags along on every fast-action, gag-driven adventure.
Whoops.
That's the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog design. So, your theory that they had no idea what Sat AM was, definitely is likely. Highly likely. So anyways, I'm buying this. I pre-ordered it because I don't have Sat AM, and at least it's a modern release. Expect me to review it in a Blu-ray haul unless it's hilariously bad, in which case I will review it in a separate video.
It's
scheduled for September.
Showing 26 episodes on the 2 DVDs with MPEG-2 encoding with bitrate.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Someone from Discotheque commented. Shoving 26 episodes on 2 DVDs with MPEG-2 encoding and bitrates. Yeah, SD content is worthless on Blu-ray. It's funny, too, because another guy from Discotheque, Mark, said, now we see why the PR guy seemed upset. Gonna get years of people emailing, comparing to our Sonic stuff. But Discotheque...
the bonus feature I understand maybe not being included here because probably there's some
I'm sure Shout Factory owns those bonus features. That's a very common thing to happen.
Yeah, so that's fine. I think the biggest problem is just shoving 26 episodes in 2 discs. It's the biggest problem.
You know what? Here's the thing. If you want Sat AM, at least it's cheap. I'll get it.
You know what? We'll you should
see.
Do is check. One thing you need to definitely check is the menus on it because I think our previous End Circle release of Adventures, the menus use Sonic Adventure era art. It's on those menus instead of Adventures Sonic the Hedgehog.
I might have to do a combo video of this in their underground release.
Because I'm curious, would these sets actually use the actual assets for these shows, or do they just grab random Sonic stock images?
It's a real 50-50 toss-up. Infinite. I have Cream, I just don't have Infinite. That sentence sounds weird for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about.
If people who are looking for the newest Jax Wave, check Kohl's. They're weirdly getting the newest wave.
Yeah.
Of Jack Sonic weirdly. So you
buy a polo and then buy a toy, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Slobo says, hey kids, Sonic says no to Blu-ray releases.
So speaking of Blu-ray releases, let's talk about Discotheque before we talk about G.I. Joe, because I think this is a perfect time to switch over to Discotheque.
You should talk about me and Wheels.
Talk about a VOD that me and Jerry had to delete.
Yep.
But
we did get the clip of us losing our minds.
Here's the thing. So you guys had to kill the VOD because their stream killed their Twitch account for a couple days.
Yep. Oh, I forget. Was it the copyright or was it the?
No. It was the.
Oh, it was the sister.
It was
the sister series.
There's a movie that they licensed. I didn't put it in my. I specifically because Twitter has been broken. I specifically pulled all the images out that I wanted to talk about and left off the sister thing because that got them in trouble, and I ain't risking that. So.
Don't worry, Muteki's buying that for you.
Marshalls.
Oh boy.
I mean, I don't know. That's what he told us last week.
Oh, God.
That he was gonna get it for you.
Oh, so I could review it?
You. Exactly.
Oh, God.
Tech is like, let's get it for him and let him review it. And we're like, all right, if you buy it, man, we'll tell you his address.
This is what happened. They showed a very salacious live action movie that they thought they cut down to be PG-13 enough, but it wasn't, and it got them shadow banned.
Now, here's the thing. I do believe they cut it down enough. I do legitimately believe they did cut it down enough. What I think got them, though, was really the girls moaning.
Yeah, it was the audio.
Yeah.
It was the audio that did it, yeah.
Yeah, Twitch probably got someone streaming hentai.
Yeah.
It's like, ban it.
Twitch didn't get mad at them for the censored out breasts.
Nope. Yeah, no, that was fine. But yeah, no. So anyways, they had their stream last week. All right, first up, Mazinger Z is coming to Blu-ray. They showed a preview of the opening. It looks great. I believe this is using the... I don't think they're doing the restoration. I think they're using the Toei restoration. The interesting part is they said the original subtitles on their DVD release was Toei provided, so these are going to be much better, which makes me happy, and maybe that's the reason why I never finished the show. Oh, by the way, if anyone's wondering why the reveals were kind of light, it's because this is their stuff that they cut from their Otakon panel, because they're having an Otakon panel on the 28th.
I'm glad though the last one they cut for Otakon, so we could mark the fuck out.
Exactly.
Yep.
The next thing was a Digimon. They're gonna announce.
There's going to be a big Digimon announcement. They hyped it up a little bit more than I think. So there's got to be something going on with Digimon. I think beyond just we got 02 because it's sort of expected. I feel like there's something else because they were like, hey, you better be that. You should be there if you're a Digimon fan. So this was kind of like everything that was
announced, like a movie collection.
I have a feeling it has to be the movies, or like we got a master license. It can't just be 02 because I feel like we're all seeing that coming. You know,
it's like
It's like
how
also
Black
they did say that they won't have any more Tokusatsu stuff, if I recall. Right?
Well, okay, so what they said, we'll talk about the Toku stuff because that's a slide I saved. So, first of all, Mazinger Z, it's going to be 2 sets just like before. I've never finished this show because the casual 70s sexism was a little too much for me at times, and I just have never been able to push through it. But I'll probably give it another shot once the Blu-rays come out. They also are doing, I just bought this 6 months ago on DVD and didn't watch it, but CB Kara Go Nagai World is coming to Blu-ray. It looks like a great upgrade. It looks really fun. Austin, new name. Austin D. Eduardo gifted $1.99, said, why do you think Enterprise Season 4 was axed from Paramount Plus? I think it was a glitch, or they were trying to delete Enterprise while we didn't notice, and they put it back because the Star Trek fandom should not be messed with, but Paramount keeps trying us.
I think Project Sadly just gone because that's taxed right off.
Yep, but yeah, no, they deleted, for some reason, Star Trek Enterprise Season 4 was just not there for like half the day, and then they finally put it back. It's ridiculous.
Speak for Mazinger Z. Didn't there ever get released? Was it Transor Z in English?
No, that'll never. I don't think that'll ever come out. But I'm also sitting here wondering, where's my Mazen Kaiser? Please.
Exactly. Me and Jerry were like, "Where's our Fire Wars?"
Yeah.
Yeah. But Go Nagai World getting a Blu-ray is great. I'm excited for that. I will just not even watch my DVD at this point. I'll just wait for the Blu-ray to come out. Sergeant Frog fans, they're putting 102 episodes into one set.
Woo!
In two disc Blu-ray, because SD Blu-ray is the coolest. Love it. I don't even collect Sergeant Frog. I just think it's really cool they just did that. Metabot Spirits, Japanese version is coming. They had done the dub before.
Technically, Metabot Spirits will get technical.
I'm not getting technical. They're calling it Metabot's Japanese version Season 2. So... Metabot season, they're called Metabots Spirits is going to be the last thing that they got for Metabots, which gets the complete Japanese and the English side.
Never seen again.
So, pretty cool. 39 episodes on a single disc, Japanese, English subtitles, that kind of thing. Then they announced this weird movie called Jeans Blue No Future. I don't know any of these movies when I show up
It's
with
a
these.
70s Pinky movie.
Yeah. Every time they're like, Nihon Nights time, I'm like, I'm gonna see something I've never heard of before.
But isn't that the fun
My
part?
favorite though
is
I can't wait till they start announcing more Neon Nights ones that like me and Metal know, and everyone's gonna be like, "Why do you know these things?" We're like, "Toei was a different time back in the '70s."
There's some movies back in the '70s I actually do want to see them. I actually do know.
See you later,
I
Slobo.
think I've heard of actually.
Yeah.
Pretty much like their Neon Nights right now is them
it,
trying to fight Arrow for like Toei's library.
Definitely.
Them versus Arrow, because when Arrow got Battles Without Honor,
yeah.
they got knowing Discotheque, they put the gloves on. We're like, we are going to cock block them from every other license at Toei. We must have it all. Like, I'm pretty sure they went in there like a war room strategy.
Blew out my ear. The wheels just blew out my
eardrum.
movies
I want to watch. I forgot what they were called. Old detective stuff. Oh well.
Arrow like Arrow Video, not Arrow like the CW. Yeah, Spin Dash brings a good point. Still trying to figure out if it's no future, like lack of future, or no future with the Japanese word, or no. Yeah, I can't figure it out either. Is it Jeans Blue's
no.
future, or Jeans Blue no future?
Or the Jeans Blue Mumber future.
Exactly.
Blues of the future.
All right, so Toku fans, which is like 80% of the chat. So they said Black Arcs is coming soon. Nothing new to announce today. Some stuff in the works. I saw some people say that this was confirming that they're going to show something at Otakon. It didn't. They said there will be an announcement in the future. That does not necessarily mean Otakon, but something later.
I was thinking the next one they're going to release is going to be Male Heroes related.
Probably because of things we'll talk about with Kamen Rider in a bit.
Reason I'm thinking it'll probably be Charvon too, because they're probably going to want to try to capitalize with Japan World Hero probably announcing that.
Yeah.
Hiroshi Watari is probably... Because I don't think it's Kenji Oba just because of his age and health. I don't think he's actually going to come over here this time in his life. If he does show up, cool, but I think it's Charvon's actor. That's the big announcement for tomorrow.
All right, next thing up, Aim for the Ace, another match. What is this stuff? OVAs? Sequel OVA?
To the original Aim for the Ace.
Cool.
They're older. Stuff happens.
What's crazier though is this looks like they even changed the art style. When we were looking at the trailer,
I believe
isn't it newer?
It's Osamu Dezaki this time.
Oh yeah.
I think they just had more of a budget.
Cool. Fist of the North. Oh, I got to read this whole thing out. There we go. Fist of the North Star, Legend of the True Savior, Legend of Yuria / Legend of Toki OVA is coming to Blu-ray disc.
Yeah, I love them.
I had to do that. I love stupidly long titles. I don't know anything about this, so.
No?
Nope. I don't know Fist of the North Star. I know the basics. I've never seen any of it.
Jerry, Soundout does not like he's not one of us. He's not a
he doesn't want him to tell people Omae wa moshi desu.
That's the only part I know. I have no context for it, but I know that.
You don't know about Mushoku Tensei or how you in this life you have no regrets and punch your way to heaven?
I know all these lines, I just don't know the context behind them.
Have you seen the live action movie?
The Gary Daniels one?
Oh god, I saw a clip of it yesterday.
I love that movie. It's great.
The closest thing to Fist of the North Star I've actually watched is a certain mecha anime we'll talk about in a moment. There also is Fist of the North Star, Legend of the True Savior, Chapter The Fierce Fight. Not as long, but there's that happening. These are getting new dubs, too.
Yes, Muteki T. Houston no Ken. It's a specialty of Planet Houston.
Houston.
I love it.
Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha Detonation is coming.
That's the next movie, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I actually know Nanoha. I don't know that one. There's like one specific Nanoha that's actually like cool, but I don't remember which one that is.
Then there's Toei's Mascot Invades the World. The Wonderful World of Puss in Boots. It's coming to Blu-ray.
I think a lot of people don't realize that Toei's mascot is their
the mascot. Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. Their mascot's Puss in Boots. I think people kind of forgot about that.
Yep, I'm totally gonna get this. I'm excited for it. You're good, Muteki. And then lastly, I screamed so loud I lost my voice for like 20 minutes. SPT Lasner.
Well, we all do.
our video clip. You should have seen what happened. You should have seen on the reaction sound at what happened. Was Metal starts going, "Oh my god!" Like Metal starts screaming. Yeah, Metal starts screaming, and we're like Metal's having like this orgasm because he's ahead of us by like 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden, me and Jerry see the black screen, and we just hear. And me and Jerry just start losing our mind, and you just hear me like trying to not wake up the house, so I have to like light scream to not wake up the house.
I was watching the stream. I was watching the stream with my parents, and I just started screaming, and they didn't quite get it until I was like, "I've been bugging them about this on Twitter for years."
I pulled what happened with G Gundam, where I got so hype I like slammed my cousin on a table. This time I was just punching things, and my hands were all hurting afterwards.
Yes.
Like, dude, like the entire song.
I don't get why I get violent when I get hyped.
Instead of singing the song like I normally do, sound out, I was going, yeah.
You guys know that one meme of it's the reaction guys meme.
Yes.
Where it's like when Discotheque announced they're releasing an obscure mecha 80s anime.
You know the meme of Batista getting ready for the Batista bomb.
Yeah,
that was really me just going.
Deca Striker. I don't know if this show is really that good or if we just love it a lot. It's a combination of both. It's,
like the best part too was Toma was so confused. She just hears all three of us and she's hysterical laughing at us as we're going, yeah, let's go. And literally me, I'm just shouting going, we won, motherfuckers, we won.
Oh, if I could recommend anything from this for anybody to watch is Lasner. Because the thing is, even if you end up not liking it, you will never forget this show.
This is the thing about Lasner. It's like a Gundam show. You're either gonna straight up love the first half and either just be okay with the second half or vice versa, or you're gonna love the thing through and through. The only reason I love this is when they put up the actual cue card and said the 3 OVAs are there, because I was like, if they don't have the third OVA, which is the director's cut finale to the episode 40 that they were supposed to have, because originally were supposed to have like a 52
it was supposed to be a 52 episode show. Yeah, the reason why the show got cut is because its main sponsor made heater units. The heater units killed 6 people, so the main sponsor went out of business, and the show got canceled.
I didn't know about that. Oh my God.
So that's how this ended. Also, this show is an alternate take where the Cold War existed in 1996.
Cold War continued to 96.
It's amazing. And that OVA series, it's 3 OVAs. The first 2 are recaps. The third one, it gives you the full finale. This is like a perfect set, if I'm being honest.
It was supposed to be like 39 episodes or 40 episodes. And they were like, well, nope. And then they did the OVA.
Yep. I think they had produced episodes 39 and 40, and they were able to rework those into the OVA to kind of finish it. But yeah, no, I got pulled because the sponsor killed people.
The funny part about it is too is like I said, I was hating the second half because it was a little rushed. Then when the epilogue came out, like the actual director's cut, it like tries to explain some of the plot holes and time jump. I was like, okay, we're good. Yep. We had a safe ending. It's kind of like
you will either love its Gundam-esque first half, its Fists of the North Star second half, or you're just gonna love it all, or you're gonna hate it, but you'll never forget it.
My favorite thing about this is
important in history.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball Scouter design came from the show.
Yeah, and here's the best part: the Scouter is only seen 2 points in the show for a brief minute, but yet you see it a lot in the opening credits as if it's like a pivotal thing.
Yeah, it's in the show so briefly, but in the second opening it shows up 3 or 4 times. It's
also
crazy.
A funny
enough
thing
to
about
inspire
this,
Toriyama.
The finale also inspired Toriyama because the main villain suit is gold. PT Laser is called the Blue Comet.
Real quick, SSJ4 Jason, the sponsor was a manufacturer of personal heaters, and the heaters exploded and killed 6 people.
Oh.
That's how it happened. Muteki T, don't talk a Fist of the North Star if you have never seen it. I know the basics.
No. Like, this show is... And the funny part about this is when the show was getting cut down, they moved most of their production team over to Zeta Gundam.
It's true, yeah. Anyways, if you've never seen
tell.
Lasner, you gotta watch Lasner at least once in your life. If you're a mecha fan, you gotta at least watch Lasner once.
Lasner is like one of the greatest Sunrise standalone mechas. Like, you have Votoms, which is a franchise. You have Gundam, which is a franchise. And then there's like Lasner. And then there's other stuff like Galleon. And now, Jerry, since we know we got Lasner, I just know now I gotta go knock on their door again and be like, hey, so you're getting Galleon next, right?
My top three favorite
Right.
my top three favorite non-Gundam mecha anime is Big O, Votoms, and Lasner. Not in any particular order. I can't choose.
Now take Votoms out and name one that isn't a franchise.
The thing is, Votoms isn't a franchise. It's a show that they kept trying to make a franchise by giving it prequels and spin-offs that are all terrible.
What we're trying to ask you is if you remember Soundout. Do you remember?
I might.
That old lullaby.
I might remember that old lullaby.
Wheels, you know it.
Oh, he's blanking out.
Spin Dash, yeah.
Remember that old lullaby?
Spin Dash brings up a good point. It wasn't Lasner branded heaters. It's just generic appliance heaters. Because everybody was sponsoring anime in the 80s. It didn't matter if you were a company, you were sponsoring anime.
It's like for example, if Raycon's blew, like somehow magically blew up someone's ears and killed them.
Here's another hypothetical.
I know Jerry was referencing something, and my brain is too fried right now from the heat to process it. Mospedia. Yeah, that's a good one. By the way, if I ever watch Pat Labor, that might be my new third. You never know.
Well, we watched Pat Labor. Just remember that it goes OVA TV and other OVA movies.
The back of the Blu-ray set has a timeline.
Live action.
Yeah. The second movie is done by Oshii and is way different than
Pat Labor is one of those franchises I was gonna try to get into, but I got the wrong Blu-ray of the wrong OVA to start with, so I was super lost. So I watched the first part.
And I keep forgetting the girl's name, even though she's the main character. I remember a robot's name, but not her.
Speaking of Blu-ray, everybody, I did get the Ultraman versus Red King set. There will be a video this week on it.
I got the new files. Pat Labor, No Mobile Police. Yeah, I don't think that's the right one to start off with.
You should get the complete collection.
Get the whole thing.
Yeah. Gal Gaigar, but the Gal Gaigar is part of the Brave franchise.
It's part of the Brave franchise.
It's its own thing. I love Gal Gaigar.
You gotta find one that's not a part of a franchise.
Because the thing is, I don't consider Votoms a franchise because everything involves the same characters. It's not like Gundam where they have multiple casts of characters. Like everything just cycles. Hellfire, what came out? But anyways, guys,
the Red King. The Red King.
The Red King, yeah, that came out last Tuesday, and I finally got it today. Gal Gaigar is the only Brave show available in the West, and that's a shame because Dagwan's amazing.
If they announced Dagwan, oh man.
Oh man,
I want them to do the Brave series backwards.
I want the whole Brave because
that's what I said to Jerry. I said that to Jerry on stream last week. Soundout. I said, "Yo, they should do the Brave series in reverse instead. Don't go back from the beginning.
Go backwards.
Don't start with X Kaiser. Just do Dagwan, then go backwards.
X Kaiser got a remaster in Japan.
Yeah.
Everyone got a Blu-ray release.
Night Guy.
Yeah. So, guys, it's now hour 2 of the show. Let's do some Hasbro news. Let's finish Yojo June with Nunchuck. For some reason, he's exclusive to a fan channel and Amazon, so why even call it that? That's just a retail figure. So Nunchuck is an obscure G.I. Joe ninja guy. That's all I know about him. Isn't he neat?
Nice.
I feel like his head just literally just a rag.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the image squared up here. Here we go. Boom, there we are. So yeah, he's cool. I like him.
When are they gonna do Night Force Ninja with those garish colors?
I think. Well, we're getting a Night Force ripcord if the Haslab goes through. I think we. Oh no, we unlocked Night Force ripcord. Yeah. Anyways, that's him. Here's these really cool shots they do because their photographers give a crap.
Not like the Transformers where it's that's transform, good enough.
Yep.
Soundout. Did our Armada Prime ship yet?
They're shipping July 7th.
Because you need to. I just want my tracking.
Yep, you will get your tracking when it ships. No, the thing is, Armada Prime is shipping from Pulse on the 7th. There's a Crimson Viper.
After the stream, just check where mine is going, which house it's going to.
Yeah, I'll let you know after.
Switch.
Muteki, that's a good question. I do want to don Snake Eyes. That would be great. But no, Crimson Viper, that's cool. I'm moving on. That's not that exciting. And then we get a new Firefly. This Firefly is more of your vintage 80s Firefly. I still like the classified one, but this one also looks fun. I'm just going to have these two Fireflies hanging out together because I love this character because he's an insane man. He got a little drone to blow stuff up with. But yeah, so that's the end of Yojo June. Haslab's still going. We haven't fully reached the last tier, or last two tiers. I haven't bought the helicopter. Muteki will probably keep asking me if I will be.
Muteki's gonna keep bugging you about it.
Anyways, let's move on to Indiana Jones Adventure Series Wave 3 / probably the last wave.
Possibly last wave?
The stream was weird, because they announced this wave that they did pipeline reveals for. Then they didn't do any pipeline reveals, so there's no Comic-Con news, and stay tuned for future announcements. And I'm like, it's either dead, or we're getting, like, one last wave next year, and it's too early to show. Also, the retro line's totally dead, because if they didn't announce anything here, I don't think we're getting anything more. But yeah, I think I knew that this was going to be a limited line.
I guess.
It just kind of came on me quick.
I guess Ash, because Dial Destiny's out now, right?
Dial Destiny came out this weekend. I saw it. I liked it.
Quick thoughts on
quick thoughts without spoilers. It's a movie that's not going to work for everybody, but for me, as a big Indiana Jones fan that spent the last several months watching all of Young Indiana Jones and the movies, I think it's a much better fitting ending for the character than Crystal Skull was. Crystal Skull was too clean of an ending for Indy's history, and I think that Dial of Destiny gave it a much different, better ending than we got. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's not a perfect movie. I don't think I can rank it over any of the original three, but I can rank it over Crystal Skull. But if I was ranking the movies, it's Crystal Skull, then Temple of Doom, Raiders, Last Crusade, and then Dial of Destiny for Young Indiana Jones references. I watched Crystal Skull on Saturday, and it blew my mind that he recounts an entire episode of Young Indy when he's like, yeah, I was with Pancho Villa, and then he just like beat for beat referenced the whole episode, and I was like, oh, cool.
It's canon. It's canon.
it's all canon. But yeah, no, I love Dial of Destiny as an ending for Indy. I look forward to seeing it again because that'll be great. Yeah, I think Crystal Wave they could just do like Indy, Mutt, Spalco, give somebody a crystal. I feel like we need at least one more Dial of Destiny character because nobody comes with the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, I think that's I remember you and Josh talking about that, where it's like it's kind of because this whole reason why this line is for Dial of Destiny, tying to Dial of Destiny is there's really
no dial.
Much.
Yeah. But to go over the figures, we have Last Crusade Indy, slight retool of the Raiders Indy, looks good. He comes with like the machine gun, which is nice. There's also Henry Jones Sr., which is a really good Sean Connery likeness. I should get this gallery a little bigger because I realize it's a little small. Really good Sean Connery likeness. Overall, I'll be reviewing all these, so that's why I'm just kind of flying through the news of him. We got the Grail Knight. Grail Knight looks awesome. So you can choose poorly or choose wisely, which is really cool. Then we've got Elsa. What's her name? What's her last name? Schneider. Elsa Schneider. She actually has an alternate head, so instead of having like hair swapping, she has two different heads. One for the helmet, one for the hat, one for the hair. I do think the Indy face looks a little better. Then we got Mads Mikkelsen's character from Dial of Destiny, Dr. Jurgen Vollner. What's kind of weird is I can't figure out if this is him from the flashback scene or from the present day stuff. Because you can't see his hair color. But he's cool. I thought he would come with the Dial of Destiny because he's like the villain looking for it. And then we have Antonio Banderas' character, Ronaldo, and if I'm being totally honest, I would have liked literally anybody else from the movie. Spoilers aside, he's not in it that much. So I don't know why he got the slot for a figure here over other people. So
I suppose
there's that.
What was the main villain of Last Crusade?
Walter Donovan.
I said we don't have him.
We do. He already came out.
Oh, we do?
He was a fan channel release.
Okay, that's why.
He was announced as a Walmart release, but then he became a fan
when
channel release.
Does he
When are
come
we gonna
with
get our Indiana Jones figure for Hitler and the autograph?
Because they can't make people who are just straight up Nazis.
I know. I'm making a joke.
Which is
They're making other Nazis.
Does Donovan come with his melty skelly face?
He does. I haven't reviewed Donovan yet because I'm trying to get my hands on the retro Henry Jones Sr. and Sala, so I can just do like a Last Crusade set of 6. Also, the build and artifact is the Grail Temple with a bunch of fake Grails, which is really cool. So, I like that they're just like, oh yeah, we'll just table fake Grails. Let's do it. I would love young indie figures, but I doubt we're even getting Crystal Skull at this point. Adding to this, there is a leak floating around of a render of Malaram. Supposedly, Malaram we knew was in the pipeline because he was in a product description. This picture exists. Apparently, according to some people who I don't like that have good sources, Malaram is banned by Lucasfilm for merchandise.
That could explain why the Lego set
Which is probably, exactly, why the Temple of Doom Lego set was canceled. Also, it would have been nice because he did come with a flaming heart.
I think the Temple of Doom is such a odd movie because I think it's because the whole controversy.
The ban is not for violence or anything like that. It's racial insensitivity.
Yeah, I think that's why Temple is. It's hard to make merch up because it was kind of controversial with both the violence and the whole racial thing.
And you can't do characters like Willy because her outfits are too intricate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why we got 3 Temple of Doom indies and then a short round, and we're like, here you go.
I still say we might still get the Lego set for Temple somehow.
I'm not sure because we didn't even get any sets for Dial of Destiny, which I thought we would have. The indie merch rollout has been weird.
I mean, it's glad it's one of those things where it's like the stuff they do put out is good, but it's one of those things where it's like.
Spin Dash brings up a good point, though. I don't know how certain figures, toy sets get so far down the pipeline if there's a hard ban. It sounds like it wasn't maybe Lucasfilm had an internal where you can't make Malaram, but what they ended up doing was they didn't tell Lego or Hasbro until they submitted it for approval.
Yeah, I think it was one.
That's what I think happened. I think they didn't tell them, oh yeah, you can't make Malaram. So Lego made a whole set, Hasbro designed a whole figure, and then they submitted it for approval, and Lucasfilm rejected it. And that would not surprise me based on what I've heard from the Star Wars line.
Which must suck, especially since that's there goes wasted time and money. Making those
huge waste of development money for sure. I did not buy the Whip Muteki. I did have a lot of the side stuff. I just haven't spent money on.
I saw that whip. I saw that whip today at Target. Yeah. It was this kind of funny scene.
I see that, and I see the talking figure, and I'm like, I want them, but then I'm like, I need to focus and make sure I have money for the adventure and retro stuff that I care about.
Those are the last things you need to get. You complete your Last Crusade.
Yep. Will says, do toy companies not give a list of things to do, not to do from these other companies? Yep, apparently not. It depends. It depends.
What I know is very last minute decisions. A lot of these decisions,
especially with Lucasfilm, I found everything I've looked at behind the scenes or anything related to Lucasfilm and licensing or producing. Lucasfilm was a giant chaotic mess, and it's amazing that anything actually comes out of that studio.
Because what was it for the Disney Plus shows? They don't get actual because it was spoiled because they don't want to spoil anything, so they don't get anything.
Yep. Pretty much the Star Wars designers find out when we find out. And what's the point of even having an agreement at that point? I
mean, that happened with No Way Home practically. Pretty much. To make sure Andrew and Toby were not spoiled, they just lock and zip in terms of anything about that film.
Speaking of indie, Mezco is doing a 1/12 collective Indiana Jones. I like Mezco stuff a lot. I have several of them. I'm not buying this. Main reason, I don't think it looks that good. The head sculpts are not great. Like I'm looking at the head right here, and I'm like, that looks like stunt show Indiana Jones, not Harrison Ford Indiana Jones.
Stuntman.
Because the Indiana Jones stunt show actor looks like that, but so I don't like the head. Some of them look better at some angles, but most of them just don't look like Harrison Ford. Like, I know he's a hard face to capture, but this doesn't even feel like it's close or that was even trying. The accessories are cool, but like that pedestal's neat, but there's like a Hasbro pedestal. It's a lot cheaper. That probably is the best shot of one of the heads.
It reminds me how, like, for McFarlane for the Flash line, the Ben Affleck Batman's clearly based off the stunt actor instead of Ben Affleck himself.
Oh, honestly, and like it's cool he comes with the hands, but I don't think any of the heads look that great. I think the jacket looks a little too bunchy, and the accessories aren't that exciting. Like, all right, webs, arrows, like for $130, I kind of was hoping for a little bit more than this. Okay, the pedestal's made out of polystone.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember, I think it came out during Crystal Skull. Remember that creepy talking indie figure that actually moves his mouth?
it reminds me of that. I like Mezco stuff, but I'm passing this one. All right, you guys ready for Anime Expo? Let's sit up in my chair.
What do we have?
All right. First of all, Warner Brothers Japan and Wit Studio have unveiled Suicide Squad Isekai. And Isekais featuring the Suicide Squad. If the title wasn't a giveaway.
I think.
You guys literally just showed me this right before the stream started.
Yes.
The teaser only just had Harley, Joker, and Waller. So
and a dragon.
And a dragon. So who knows who's going to be in it. I'll say that, like, I think it's less of this actual product, because I think actually it looks nice.
I think the art style looks good and the animation looks solid.
Yeah, because it gives you like Lupin vibes, but I think it's more just Suicide Squad and Harley and just Joker over.
Jerry, do you think that Suicide Squad and Isekai are 3 words put together sounds like the most overexposed stuff combining together?
All 100%.
Yeah, because that's what I thought when I saw it. Like when I saw it announced, I was like,
"It's like an AI scoured the web for words that pop up a lot," and then it said. And then told WB.
This was made off one of those word balloon collages.
Because when I heard the rumors of WB as teaming up with Animation Studio to do a DC anime thing, I got excited because I do want DC to get more attention in Japan, because I think because I personally don't believe that DC's too Americanized to be.
I don't either, because I mean, have you seen those little Ahmed Komi statues and stuff?
Yeah. Like, look, if characters like Captain America can become popular in like Japan, then Superman can. And he's less like patriotic compared to like
exactly.
Oh God, I think Peacemaker and Deadshot are in this.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
I just noticed the buttons on Harley's jacket.
Anime John Cena?
I'm going to get Anime John Cena.
You can see him.
But like, I think it's more of like, I guess it's one of the things where it's like, I see this and like, it's just like checkbox, like, yep, let's be safe.
The official description is DC's Harley Quinn, the Joker, and the Suicide Squad rampage onto the stage of Isekai in an original animated series from Warner Brothers Japan and Wit Studios, Suicide Squad Isekai. The most maddening worlds collide in epic and violent fantasy with the strongest lineup of anime creators.
It's like, there's many characters out there.
I'll put the text up here for anyone that wants to read about production people, because I don't know any of these shows that they did. Naoto Hosada was a Digimon movie key animator, and that they did the character designs. So that's probably why I like the art style.
Yeah, but like I think of a lot of the characters, like, I don't know, I think like Birds of Prey thing could work better, or like how the current We Are Legend stuff. Like I want like.
But if only DC actually cared about its characters that aren't Batman and Harley Quinn.
I know. Here's the thing. Like, if this was a Batman thing, and it was like a nice, like, I pretty much asking for a Wayne Family Adventures adaptation, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that could work.
I agree that like they could have done more with this, especially with the talent behind it, because this is probably going to be good. It's just the least interesting idea they could have done.
I think it's like because with the Suicide Squad, I think that's what makes it special is them not being used as much, is because that's the whole point. They're like a special task force deal with like secret man. So seeing DC just push them more and more and more, and less of them, but more just because of Harley Quinn. I'm just tired because I think it's more of like I think the loss of the popularity of the squad is what makes us the squad unique is having a rotating cast, but now it feels like we just keep getting the same people
because we
over
always
again.
have Harley and Deadshot on it.
And now like
the thing is, like, Harley wasn't even a Suicide Squad character until 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So, anybody got any other thoughts on Suicide Squad, Discotheque? Can we move on?
You already said what I was going to say about the animation.
I'll definitely check it out still, but like, you know,
yeah,
it's
like I'll watch
cautiously
it.
Optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. That's a good way to put it.
Mm.
Like I think it has a potential of being good. It's just not a super interesting premise on
I would
paper.
say this, especially as someone who just recently watched Batman Ninja's English dub. Please actually get actual anime dubbers instead of voice act, because man, watching Batman Ninja's English dub was bad. Painful. because a lot of those actors clearly never done dubbing before.
Yeah,
and it sounded bad. Even really not even some actors who had done dubbing before in that. I did think the voice acting in that overall movie was pretty bad. But yeah, don't get Tara Strong. She is not an anime actress at all. She is, because there is a difference between anime dubbing versus regular voice acting, and I think
because a lot of Western voice acting is done prior to animation, whereas dubbing
footage.
Yeah, it's a whole different skill set. Some people can do it both, like Yuri Lowenthal, but not everybody can. It's
like Tara Strong was such a standout. Like, my God, you sound bad.
Hey guys, guess what? The Gundam Seed movie is real. There's an actual trailer and poster now. It's only been like 20 years that they've been trying to do this.
Well, because what was it? The author they wanted had the author of Seed to do it, and was it he just couldn't? What was the story?
Okay, so the story was that Chiaki Morisawa was one of the main writers on Seed, and she passed, and then they didn't want to do the movie right away. So they're using the same script they wrote after Seed Destiny was made. And they're just finally producing it all these years later. Because Mitsuo Fukuda, who's directing it, he co-wrote the script along with his late wife. And they finally are putting this together. Like, this has been rumored, this has been announced, this has been started. They've had a script since like 2006. And it's finally coming out next year. January 26th in Japan.
Man, I can't wait to see Awakening of a Trailblazer again.
The thing is that that's the funny part, is that apparently Awakening of the Trailblazer didn't actually use the Seed script ideas. That was a fan rumor that got out of hand. I looked into it and found out Awakening of the Trailblazer only took the budget that was set aside for the Seed movie. It didn't actually take the plot. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be using, I think they're using 3D animation for the mobile suits, but it looks cool. I'm just happy this exists finally. Holy crap.
I just find it funny that, like, I find this got announced right after Witcher Mercury's finale, because we were joking, like, can't wait for Witcher Mercury Destiny! And here they are announcing actual Seed.
Oh, I don't think Witcher Mercury's getting a Destiny. I think Witcher Mercury's done. I think it's done.
Yeah, no, I feel bad because I still need to watch the whole show.
I feel bad because I feel like it needed either 12 more episodes or 12 less characters. The thing is that, like, so the head writer of the series, Chiaki Morisawa, died in 2016. So they've been sitting, this script has been done for a long time, and she's been gone for a while, and they had the plot done in 2008. Holy crap. This is just insane that they're like, let's do it. Let's do it
now. Like, what?
Yep. It's 2 years, takes place 2 years after Destiny.
Found out the joke. Crap. Hathaway's delayed. Oh, man. I guess we got to do that really bad.
I got to tell you, though, the fact that Gundam's been pumping out movies like every other year is kind of nuts.
Because last year was the Domes Island one, right?
That was, which they finally put up on Crunchyroll. 2022 was Dawn's Island, 2020 was Hathaway, 2018 was Narrative. Like, they are doing a movie every other year. It's nuts. Because we used to get Gundam movies every 10 years or so. Like actual movie movies, not OVAs.
Yeah, but not or compilations.
Yeah, exactly. Like actual new narrative movies.
Did they finish those? Oh, why am I blanking the series? Well, what's the series that Tomio went back and
G-Reco?
G-Reco.
Yeah, those compilation movies finished about 7 or 8 months ago. It was like sometimes...
Are they even still considering how much they fixed?
I don't even count them as compilation movies. I call them as a series redo.
Right? Yeah.
I would never tell anybody to watch the G-Reco TV show. Watch the 5 movies.
The Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood of Gundam, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. And it takes less time too, because movies.
Yep.
So, anyways, I'm surprisingly excited for this just because more Gundam is good. All right. Also, expect so much merch for this. And also, expect your Google searches to get worse now because it's titled Mobile Suit Gundam Freedom.
Oh boy.
Not to be confused... Oh, sorry. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom. Not to be confused with the Freedom Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam Seed.
Or just read the logo and read the fine print. Mobile Suit Gundam S Freedom.
Yep. But yeah, expect your Google searches to get messed up. But cool. There was also another Gundam things. Gundam Requiem for a Vengeance is going to be a 6-episode, 30-minute episode project being done in Unreal Engine 5. Takes place during the 1-year war. Because, of course, it does.
Hey, we got a new sequel to our good buddy Igloo.
Hellfire made the joke, Igloo 3. So, yeah, no, it's definitely.
Wouldn't this be Igloo 4?
Muteki, I don't think any of us consider Seed on our top Gundam list. It's like number 15 for me. Destiny's a little lower. But yeah, no, this...
I rage quit Destiny.
Yeah.
I love Will in the chat. A strike if I would be free of being stuck, not pushing its story the worst way possible.
It's true. But anyways, this is going to be an Unreal Engine. They got a guy that's worked with Unreal Engine before. He's
Unreal Engine 5. Probably will look good.
Yeah. Here is... Let's see if I can pull this up a little bigger. Here is character and mobile suit designs.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for it. I'm a weirdo that likes Igloo, so yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I like. So we'll see more of it. There is a promotional video. There, just like with Seed, there's a nice little 30-second teaser, and then there is interview with the director. Australian Axis, Celia Massingham.
Blue Baron brought up a great quote.
Is going to be voicing the lead character and performing motion capture. Yes. Blue Baron said, I still can't believe they redubbed Gundam Seed recently instead of using that budget for an undubbed Gundam series. Yep. But I get it, because having watched the SD and HD versions of Seed, you couldn't use the old dub on the HD version.
Was SD's dub I don't want to say localized dub, but did they have to change things? Because I know CW got some TV censors when it came out.
Yeah, but the way they did it was the wing. They did it the wing way, where they had 2 versions made. There was the TV-friendly version and the uncut version for home video. They didn't change any names permanently like they did with G Gundam. SSJ4 Jason has a good reason to hate Seed Destiny because it took the time slot intended for Ultraman Nexus. Yeah, I agree. So anyways, this looks cool. I guess we'll see more in the future. All right, now for me to just do my thing, because I don't think anybody else has any stake in this. There's Naruto news. So
I will sanction it.
I have 345 episodes left of Naruto. Just kidding. I have 349 episodes of Naruto, because there is now 4 new episodes for Naruto's 20th anniversary. They recently had done this video called Road of Naruto that recaps the entire series. It's a compilation. They put out these...
That was gorgeously animated.
I haven't watched it because I have not finished Shippuden yet.
I was watching just the classic Naruto, so it's really good to see. Mm-hmm. Also, really weird to see classic Naruto in
modern animation. Yeah. So then there's these 3 posters. Oh, people in the chat got my Naruto back. I appreciate this.
Naruto back.
So there's a little promotional thing for like the original series, and then here's like some of the stuff for Shippuden. And then there's like this late game 4th Ninja War poster. So there's that. I have 304 45 left of Shippuden, because I'm on 155 now. I'm working my way through it. I got figure arts coming next year that I need to know about.
Was there a figure art?
We'll get there in a moment. But anyways, there's 4 new episodes of Naruto. They are, let's see, when is the first one airing? Starting in September to celebrate the 20th anniversary. So there's going to be 4 new episodes, which will tell new stories, I guess. Maybe we'll see some of them there, like some of the adaptations of the that other stuff. But as the chat has already mentioned and Ryan mentioned, Naruto Uzumaki Kurama Link Mode, Courageous Strength That Binds, is now up for pre-order on P Bandai US, and I assume P Bandai Japan as well.
Is this our first P Bandai from the new Naruto
This
line?
is the first, yeah, this is the first P Bandai for the new Naruto line, which is fine because it's a form change. I prefer that to having a whole new character this way.
Yeah.
He's $80. He looks really cool. He's got the Rasen Shuriken effect and whatever form of the Rasen gun that is. He's got
$80, but it looks cool.
It looks cool, and I think the effect parts help the price too.
The effects really, really are good. Yeah,
it's kind of like
Figure
Figure Arts Punk Jack being $98. Like, yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow, but he does come with 2 whole torsos and extra weapon sets, so it feels okay.
Does it go with the base too, or no?
This one doesn't come with a stand, sadly. No base. Figure Arts don't do that enough. Every Mafex I buy, though, comes with its own stand. But anyways, he looks cool. And if you order him between July 1st and July 24th, you get free shipping on Naruto and then a free shipping coupon for use in August on P Bandai. Also, I will tell you guys a secret technique, because I haven't made the order yet, but if you want to get Figure Arts Yamcha, he comes out the same month, and if you order them in the same order, both Naruto and Yamcha, you get free shipping on the whole thing. So, there's your secret life hack for P Bandai. I'm waiting to do that because I think that will be financially sound for me.
So you can have Yamcha get impaled in his heart.
Yes, even though I'm not buying Dr. Dro. But anyways,
if you show up Friday, tell our friend Starchild about that.
I will. If not, I should leave it.
You don't.
I should leave it in the Discord. Either way.
Yeah, there you go.
Remind me later to do that. But or should I do it now? All right, we'll just leave the picture up right now. I'm just gonna.
Let's go to collectibles.
Collectibles
at Yamcha. Like, hey, you want Yamcha?
Yeah, that's him. It's showing up just as at y ... Yeah. All right, cool. If you want SHF Naruto Kurama Link, let's see, you want SHF Yamcha. If you order it with the same order as Naruto Kurama Link, you get free shipping. Cool. There. Now it's been told. Now I'm off the hook for having to remember. Okay, so, yeah. Why not Jiro Muteki? Because I don't collect the Dragon Ball figure arts. I just want Yamcha to go with my TN. Because I'd be like that. There's one last piece of Naruto news. Kind of a big deal. Naruto Shippuden Blu-ray Set 1 coming out October 17th.
So you can finally get rid of those old DVDs.
Yep. So,
am I surprised it took this long?
I'm not, because it's a 500 episode show. They were probably working ahead. October 17th means it's coming 1 year after Naruto Set 8 came out. So for those that may not remember, because... You know what? Can't blame you, because we have talked about this. Yeah, Naruto Shippuden has not received a Blu-ray in Japan either. Viz did the upscale for Naruto and Shippuden. If Blue Baron, I don't know how the Bleach turned out, but I heard it wasn't great. But the Naruto upscale they did, I think, looks fantastic. It's weird in places because it's a digitally animated show that was outported in 480p.
It's better than the Dragon funny rolls.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the Funimation. It's still funny because on the back of Volume 1 it says 16:9. It is still in 4:3. But the thing I wanted to point out is with Naruto, they had these shuriken on the side, and like set 1 was there, and there was 8 sets in total. So we go over to Shippuden, we can see over here on the spine, there's one kunai filled in, and there's another kunai across from it. So this is going to be 18 sets. which makes sense because it'll be about 27 a set, which is the same as the Naruto's.
How much is it?
We don't know the price, but it's probably going to be about $30. That's how much these were, I'd imagine. I don't know if they're going to do complete sets. I clearly just bought them in the volumes. The volumes have brand new packaging art. I'm assuming this is the same case with the Shippuden ones. That they have brand new connecting cover art. So
I imagine once they're done, they're going to make a box set. Is that like a box set?
I'm doing this wrong. They might do a box set. It's a lot of episodes. These are Region A only due to the restrictions. I will say if you're outside of Region A for Blu-ray, it's worth getting a region-free Blu-ray player or a Region A Blu-ray player.
All Blu-rays are region-free.
No. Our
4Ks are.
Gamer,
4Ks are, but
hard way.
Yeah, Blu-rays are not region-free. Most it's weird because like I have a bunch of Marvel Blu-rays that are all region.
It just so happens that Europe and U.S. and Japan are the same region.
Yeah,
But once you're in Europe and try to get something from those regions, no, you need a region free.
Yeah, because the thing is that these are they're all region coded A. They say it on the back. Region A covers Japan and the U.S. And Region B is like Europe. So the thing is that a lot of European discs, like Region B release discs, are all region. I have some Marvel stuff that's all region, like my Marvel movies or like some of their other TV shows were all region. But then like a lot of anime is like Region A only, and it's because of the Japanese companies forcing it that way. The nice part though is when they do finish Shippuden, we already had all the movies on Blu-ray, so that's going to be great. But yeah, I'd say if you're in Region B, yeah, and sometimes it works too. There are some players you can unlock the region coding. If you Google it, there's some guides. It's worth a shot. You can unlock the programming.
Life hack.
There's life hack stuff. So I would recommend if you have stuff, I would recommend either getting a region free player or seeing if you can unlock your player to be region free. You can't do it with like a video game console, but you can do it with a lot of other players.
So. You should do like a video on the history of the Naruto stuff, Blu-rays, because I remember.
I might do a history on the I have my DVDs in storage, and I might do that.
Yeah, because I remember the DVDs, like the classic, original part 1 was really nice quality. But I remember Shippuden got like really cheap near the end. I'm just like bare black disc.
Yeah, I never. So for context, I haven't finished watching Shippuden. I never finished collecting the DVDs either. So I'm going to be doing it this time though. Hellfire. The regions for the Blu-ray players are region free on PlayStations 4s and 5s. For the game discs, but when you pop in a movie disc, it gets weird.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Games are region free.
Yeah,
right.
But the actual movie disc, it gets a little weird. Yep. Yeah, this was done by an American comic book artist. Yeah, I don't really know what the hell happened here. But they did re-release this with a better cover that was just like standard artwork. So I got this.
It was that dislike.
I
remember that when that came out with that artwork.
Yeah, I got this for $14 in a Right Stuff sale, so I can't complain. Even though it's all over this release. It's all 3 movies on one disc, but it honestly looks fine. But yeah, this is an official cover. The actual covers for the series Blu-ray, these were done by Studio Pero. And I imagine it's the same case for the Shippuden Blu-rays.
It definitely is.
If they break down the 18 volumes, they could do, because these were connected for a volume because it was only 8 volumes. I imagine these are going to be 6, or just like some weird numbers. I hope they continue to do this, where the last volume in a connecting image comes a little poster of the whole image, because it's really cool.
Will in the chat said it's true. He follows that artist who did that artwork, and doesn't know why, because that artist has drawn Naruto close to the original style. It's true. I actually have seen that American artist artwork before. I don't know why on that cover it looks so weird. I don't know if they had him on a strict deadline or what.
Yeah, apparently he said, he was told to draw it like that.
They forced him to. Okay, there you
go. Kyle in the chat. I am not a Gurren Lagann fan, but I did hear that they're doing a 4K set.
I think so, because I know Chirrut got Fanny Stockings rights back, but I'm not sure. Did they also get Gurren Lagann's rights?
I think so. There is a preview trailer for the Naruto Shippuden Blu-ray out there. It looks really good. I've been watching the show on Hulu, and it's kind of a fuzzy 480p, even on the episodes that have gone to 16:9. So
yeah, because Shibuya started back
2007. So it starts in 4:3, and then eventually it goes to 16:9. And then it goes to HD later. It's really weird. So the thing is too with the remastering, I think that at some point they will stop remastering Shippuden and they're just putting it out because I think it was in HD at some point.
I always wonder because I know
and Muteki, yeah, I'm surprisingly not a Gurren Lagann fan considering how much I like other Trigger stuff and other mecha. It's just I just don't like it.
So. I find it interesting that I'm not sure about like Japan, like Japanese, because I know Western cartoons, especially during the 2000s, they'll animate widescreen, but they get cropped to 4:3. I always wondered if that was only specific in America, or was that?
I think that's an American thing because I've seen a lot of anime from that era, and people like Discotheque remastering it, and it never comes out anything more than 4:3. So I imagine that they just didn't do that. Like they just did it in the format they were presenting it in. So I think with Naruto. And so the other thing, too, this is a big thing to mention, is how often are these going to come out? If they're like the Naruto volumes, they're going to come out one every 3 months, which means we're going to be taking 5 years to finish Shippuden. If they could bump it up to one every other month, that would be cool. That would definitely be cool.
I imagine when we get to the pure HD era, Shippuden will be a lot more faster.
Yeah. When they get to the HD, I imagine they're just going to pump out like the last, 8 volumes or so. That might work. Muteki T, if they decide to put all of Naruto and Shippuden into one whole box set, how much would it cost? Okay, if one volume is like, let's just say $30, even though you can get them for like $25. Let's just say $30. There is 8 Naruto, 18 Shippuden. So that's 26 volumes. So $780. Roughly, unless they take a discount on it, in which case it might be cheaper. It is good. It's a ton of discs though, because each one of these volumes is 4 discs. So, but they have about 27 episodes of volume, which I think is good, and it keeps it pretty reasonable. Blue Baron, yeah, I'm surprised Japan is letting them release it on Blu-ray as well. I imagine with Studio Pero doing the cover art for them, that is them endorsing the whole project.
I mean, Naruto is huge in the West. I feel it's even more popular.
I think it's way more popular here, which is why I think evidenced by 2 things. 1, we're getting a Blu-ray first, and then 2, the figure art's being retail.
Yeah, because I think it's very similar to it's like, well, I always Dragon I'm not saying Dragon Ball is not as popular as Naruto in the West. I feel like Dragon Ball is more worldwide. Where I feel like, Naruto really made a big impact when it came out in the West. So so I feel like that's why we're getting this.
Will says Boruto is greenlit because of the US. So
yeah.
All right. Anime Expo had a bunch of news, which we just covered. There's one thing it didn't have: any presents for Kamen Rider. So I have to dance around this topic. Just fair warning, because a lot of you in the chat are on Twitter and probably saw a tweet by a certain person with a name that starts with the letter C. I cannot talk about that because he took it down. And I don't want to talk. I do not want whoever came after him to come after me. So I can't talk about the drama.
How about the best way to state it is what he tweeted should not have been put out there, and we have a source that also said what he posted should not have been stated. That would get him in trouble, and he probably got in trouble for it.
Yep. So because of that, we're not going to talk about it. Apologies for those that don't know what happened, because I am not going to be. I'm not going to get myself and all of us in trouble.
Legal trouble.
Yeah, because
if you know, you know. If you don't, good.
If you don't, it's probably better for it. There was a series of tweets that should not have been tweeted, and we confirmed with our sources that they shouldn't have been tweeted. So we'll leave it at that.
Our source said, "Why did he tweet all this stuff?"
Yeah, exactly. Our source was a little horrified, and there were some other people that were like, it's really weird when I think someone posted a meme that they said, I've been subtweeting for years, and he just posted it on the timeline.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this. It really felt like because this whole anime Expo thing kind of was a stupid drama on Twitter about this whole thing with Kamen and
yeah, we'll talk about the actual
really,
part of this in a minute.
It really did feel like the reason why they got leaked because it was kind of a event piece, quote unquote, and that's all I will say. It really felt to say about it.
Yeah,
it really felt like a event piece why I got out.
Yeah, exactly. So the big thing to know is that while we had Kamen Rider Anime Expo last year, while Shout announced 5-Man and Ryuki at last year's Anime Expo, there was nothing. Ultraman didn't have anything either, unlike last year.
But Blazer comes out next week.
Blazer comes out next week, and
it has YouTube, and there's YouTube ads for Blazer.
Yes, but with Ultraman,
they're planning to do stuff at SDCC.
The grapevine's been churning, and SDCC should have some Ultraman news. So there was no presence for Kamen Rider at the Bandai booth. There was, Spin Dash followed up with, they have a bunch of figure arts, but there was no belts, no figure arts, nothing. So because of that, it was just like Bandai was not promoting Kamen Rider at all. We have seen a slowdown in the Kamen Rider releases. Spin Dash, if he's still here in the chat, can attest to this. We've been talking about it. A bunch of the stuff that's gone up on P Bandai in Japan has not come out on the other side.
Just figure arts, right?
Outside of figure arts, we're not hardly getting anything. And even with figure arts, the Tamashii website said we were supposed to get 02. It is now week 6, I think, without 02. So yeah, it's very strange. Stuff is what it is behind the scenes. Now, what's interesting is that we get this Bandai doesn't have any presence for Kamen Rider at Anime Expo, and then literally the same day, we get this news that Shirakura, Shinichiro Shirakura, the I think former producer on Sentai and Rider, I don't think he's currently the producer.
What's the last one he did was
Dawn Brothers.
Dawn Brothers. Okay.
Yeah. But he is heading a character strategy department for Rider and Sentai to further strengthen the character business and maximize revenue. Among that, they will plan an area strategy for Asia, Latin America, Europe, and the United States. So it's essentially that Toei is working on strategizing how to bring their characters to the West. I could take this in two different ways. One, this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Bandai, even though this picture that they used has a bunch of Bandai product in front of them. I think there's entirely a possibility that maybe Toei is actually wanting to handle things directly as opposed to just subsidizing everything. And maybe part of the rollback on the Bandai side is to accommodate that. Maybe the rollback on a bunch of things is to accommodate that. I don't know if this is going to be anything, because Shirakura is the one that pushed for Shin Kamen Rider, Futo PI, and Black Sun to come out over here. Maybe they did well. Maybe they didn't. So the thing is that I think it's interesting to see that there is an article from Toei's, an article from Oricon News about Toei looking to do their own thing with pushing and planning. They may have realized, probably too late, that Subaraya has a U.S. office, and they're really pushing Ultraman. And so it seems like maybe Toei wants to do more with Rider and Sentai in the rest of the world. Or this will result in nothing. Who's to say?
I imagine they cannot overlook what Subarai's doing. They probably see what.
Oh, of course not. Everything Toei has done has been a snap reaction. Quick, oh crap, we need to do what they're doing, and not thinking it through.
So this definitely feels like a response to all what Subarai's doing, but it's one of the things where you just have to see, because with Subarai, they were just upfront. Oh, we're just releasing Ultraman Z globally. Yep. And stuff like that. Oh, Dub's coming. Here's a trailer to Dub. They've been super, they haven't been, weirdly, sneaky or, teasing. It was just, worldwide. That's simple. So, if it was something like that, I feel it's hard to tell. I don't think it's weird to keep saying Sentai, because I don't, with the whole Hasbro stuff, I don't think they could. Not saying they couldn't, because we got the 5-man Aba Ranger set, and the manga came out there in the Hasbro era, right?
Yeah.
So, we still can't get, so it's not impossible to get Sentai, but it's more We know
I
that.
think also the Sentai part of that is probably talking more about Asia and Latin
Yeah.
America than it is the United States. Hellfire did notice this thing on Toei's website that they have this it's on their like global planning. Accelerate global rollout of content. Titles from the Toei group have been exported overseas and loved by many people, including the animated Dragon Ball and One Piece, the live-action Power Rangers series. While Japanese animation has established a great reputation internationally, Japan's visual content industry still has only a very small share of the global market. We believe that Japanese animation, live-action titles, and content featuring Japanese tokusatsu special effects still have plenty of room for potential for growth. Moving forward, we will strengthen the efforts to fill the world with stories that bring people joy by collaborating with production companies and creators from all over the world, aiming to increase our overseas sales ratio to 50% by 2033. Which is funny because that sounds like what Ultraman's doing. So, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly is going on. I think this is what I put down in the title because it also here's the thing. Thumbnails are a marketing thing. Putting the weird tokusatsu news of the weekend is a marketing thing, but also it's legitimately we went from like no Bandai Kamen Rider at Anime Expo to Toei's going to be pushing their stuff more. And Hellfire brings up they mentioned Power Rangers all over their website. And I don't know if they're just using that as shorthand for Sentai or if they still have a stake in Power Rangers regardless.
Well, it's so weird because didn't Toei Tokusatsu World put up a lot of PRC the Japanese PRCs recently and it's been like talked about it's actually got a lot more attention compared to the US side, funny enough.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've been hearing from the grapevine.
Mm-hmm. And so with all that said, I don't really have anything else because I can't talk about things that I'm not allowed to talk about. And other than that, that's about it. That's it for the news. Anybody got any other thoughts, stray thoughts on Toei's weird non-committalness to everything?
It's, I'll say this is I feel like the fans freaking out too much about this because, look, it's one of those things where it's I think we just have to kind of accept that Toei is just gonna be their own ways.
Bandai's gonna be their own way too.
Yeah, so seeing not seeing anything from Kamen Rider and MXO, I feel like the whole thing is doomsday. I don't think it's really, it's not doomsday speak. It just I don't know, maybe they're true. Maybe
it's the same thing with Power Rangers. It's not the end of things, but the things that we were having may be taking a break for a bit while they re-strategize, which is not a bad thing because I don't think any of it's working.
Because again, we talk about multiple times about Food PI. How Black Sun, as much as I love that series, I don't think it really sadly made a too big of a mark. I mean, it had a big enough mark to get Hot Toys released.
I have heard that from what I've heard from several people, Black Sun did better than Futo PI, and Shin Kamen Rider did somewhere in between those two.
Yeah, because Shin Kamen Rider,
but none of them are breakout hits by any means.
I think Shin Kamen Rider was the most successful out of the three in terms of at least I saw those multiple anime ups at the theater. So it definitely has the most attention out of all the things.
It's also the most approachable thing of all three of them.
But I think compared to Shin Ultraman, from what I've seen, Shin didn't make the same amount audience compared to Shin Ultraman. And so I think Toei's just trying to figure out. I feel like he's trying to figure out how to reach that same level is Super Royal. Hitting.
I gotta say though, in general, I do think Ultraman is way more approachable to a casual American audience than Rider ever will be.
Yes, I always feel like the reason why I think Ultraman has a much better success is mostly because I feel like most of the West already kind of knows about Ultraman because it's always been because of the old the older
kaiju heads the kaiju heads
and such. Plus, because Ultraman had a stamp in the West because now we have the older dubs and the kaiju connect. But then weren't they actually U.S. made Ultraman toys back in the 90s?
For example, great.
Yeah, so there's already a stagement for Ultraman already. It just now,
and they also by just having stuff on Crunchyroll during the big Crunchyroll boom was also really smart too.
Yeah. So Super was already a head start with Toei. Toei never tried to release Kamen Rider because before it was
they never tried. They just want to. For the longest time their policy was give us money, you get a show, not like all of them, one show. I described it to someone as I described it as Toei doesn't treat Rider or hasn't treated Rider and Sentai as franchises. They treat them as dozens of shows that happen to share a title or a word.
It's like
that's what it is.
It's not like because it's not like say Dragon Ball where it's like you have the Dragon Ball license. No, it's we're in that specific for each season.
And I think that's a major problem. It's what slowed everything down. Shout, if Shout has licensed another Rider show, they have to work on them one at a time, and that just takes forever. And there's no rhyme or reason. They're picking up what they can afford. Muteki Feven's a good point. An older guy knew Ultraman. My mom watched Ultraman when it was airing with the English dub here, so it's been around a long time.
I mean, why think I feel like that's why how SS Gridman did well because not only you get the Trigger fans, but you got people who did seen Superhuman Samurai Squad back in the day.
Oh yeah, putting that SSSS in the title was not an accident. I will say on the last bit of things with licensing and Toei and all that, we don't know what's going to happen. But I did want to highlight a comment, which was Peacemaker said, "If stuff comes out, stuff comes out. If not, then oh well. I have other stuff that has my interest, like Ghost Trick on the Switch featuring the best dog in video games." My advice has always been to Toku fans, and especially Power Rangers fans, be sure to have other hobbies, because if you hyper-focus on just the one so much that if it goes on a break, it will hurt you more than if you have other hobbies to fall back on, It's good to have variety for your own personal mental health. For me, it's like, I've learned this because I'm a comic fan, right? There has never been a point in time where I think Marvel and DC have both been good, and I've been equally into both of them. I'm always preferring one or the other, depending on how things are going with comics, Like, if DC starts sucking, I go over to Marvel, and I usually find something good. Sometimes they're both bad, but I've never had them both good. That hasn't happened yet. But that's my thing. Like, right now, I'm kind of on an anime kick. Like, I'm watching Naruto because I feel like watching Naruto, but when I stop feel like watching Naruto, I'll go back and do something else. That's kind of the best thing to do. Muteki, I'm not sure if the King Odra Lance is worth the pickup, because I keep seeing it's like $80 on every website I see it at. I'm like, it looks cool, but I don't know if it's $80 cool. Check out some videos and decide for yourself is my best advice. But on that note, Wheels, did you want to speak today at the end of the stream?
Yeah, we're doing this thing. We're promoting this thing because Twitter was dead, and I'm gonna work on that editorial thing that
I'm gonna put you on screen because this is your hot mic moment.
And you can stay on camera too.
No, I'm gonna hide.
Wheels' camera's not working on my end.
Well, it's working on mine. That's what's important.
That's weird. Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Hey,
we can both be on camera.
Do that
put your camera in the top little smaller box and have.
Oh, I know what to do. Yeah, I'll just do this.
Be on the smaller box.
There you go.
There you go.
But putting Wheels as focus because
Sound. You just click on Wheels' video camera and he'll be full screen.
Oh, now I have to recrop everything. It's much better, but I have to recrop it all. All right, hang on. So Wheels, Psycho O's, we talked about that at the top of the show, so go check out the archive, because I'm not repeating Power Ranger stuff. We're gonna crop Wheels back in. If you guys are watching me do this live, it's because I don't know how to plan.
Showed you this last night.
No, you showed me last night, and I'm doing it live. I'm doing it live because I didn't set this up ahead of time better. All right, here we go.
No, you didn't.
Nope, never do.
All right, so we're good.
Yep, go.
We're good. Okay, so while back, me and Soundout were like, oh crap, after Pride Month, July is actually Disability Pride Month, and Disability Awareness Month is in March. Pretty much the same thing. Okay? But something I wanted to point out is with Disability Pride, right? Is I'm a person that was born paraplegic, right? So I never got the luxury of walking and, doing normal things like running, jumping, etc., without the use of possibly like braces, where you put them on your legs, you walk with crutches or a walker, etc. And, I like superhero content. I like Tokusatsu, I like American comic books, cartoons, and so on and so forth. The problem, though, a lot of superheroes that are disabled are made disabled. And I'm not trying to say that people can get made disabled. We know that's a thing. People can get made disabled. But there's kind of like this weird way that a lot of content, whether it's just superhero or not, likes to kind of pretend being born disabled sort of doesn't exist. Like, you'll have at least Sesame Street and PBS kids shows talking to you about being born that way and how it's really screwed up. And then there are people who get also accidents that add to it being already screwed up. But for superheroes, we kind of don't have characters. Like, we don't have the inclusion of existing. Our proxy is people who get made disabled, and one of the biggest crutches is sensory disabilities, whether you're blind or deaf. So, like, I find that really weird, and I think there should be more heroes that actually are disabled. And that's a thing. There should be more disabled heroes that are born disabled and find ways to get, temporarily cured, whether it be with the power or just have powers that they can use while being disabled and get around doing things. You don't have to have a Pinocchio story where they're cured at the end, or you can just have it that they're only able to use that power like Shazam. Freddie Freeman, Freddie Freeman, right?
Freddie Freeman,
Yes.
yeah.
He had polio before they had the vaccine, I think. They created him. And they had it that when he uses the powers of Shazam, he was completely fine. It took away his polio while he was Shazam. Oh, why can't we do characters like that where straight up they're born with the ability not to use legs? Or like, say, can we have a Power Ranger who can morph? And when they morph, maybe their wheelchair becomes a battleizer, or they can temporarily walk. There's all these ideas. And I have pitched them when talking to a certain producer, which kind of irked the shit out of me. He somewhat apologized ever since then. But the concept is Power Rangers and Tokusatsu probably has the best way to include people like myself. And that's what I'm saying. Disability Pride is one of those things of, you need to show that people who are born like me exist. And that's the problem I see, is that, like, being made disabled is their way to try to maybe get like an Emmy, or to try to get more people in for, I don't know, attention. I don't know how to say it better, but it feels weird, because like, just being born disabled affects everyone. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Black, Latino, Asian, gay, transgender, non-binary. You can still have a disability. You can still be born with a disability. Yet, to get a disability, it's usually an accident, whether caused by your own hubris or because of someone else's negligence. It's stuff like that. It's weird, though, that some heroes are made disabled and then become a superhero. Like Daredevil, right? He got all these cool stuff that heightened his other senses and gave him, like, radar. But like, then Charles Xavier, he already had his powers. Then he got disabled because, accidents. Now, that can happen, too. You can still get injured on the job. You know what I'm saying? Like Barbara Gordon, shot by Joker. But we never see actual heroes like me, or we somehow find magical relics, or given divine abilities, or just have technology that get us around. One of the best technical superheroes or a character in science fiction is Chip Chase from Transformers. He's born disabled and saves Optimus Prime like twice, as well as saves the entire group of Autobots in an awesome, 2 or 3-parter? Like,
Yes.
That guy was rolling, literally, up a mountain. He pushed his wheelchair up a dirt path in a regular-ass wheelchair that looks like he rented it from a hospital, not a specialized wheelchair. He rolled that sumbitch up a dirt road to a mountain to get to a supercomputer. Yeah, after the 80s, though, got erased. Allegedly, this is not fully true. Not fully true or not fully debunked. Allegedly, reasons why characters in cartoons that were born disabled went away was the increase of soccer moms saying that they were painting a false light for people in wheelchairs and will make them do even more dangerous things that could harm them, as well as having the disabled ability of, or should I say, disabled character on screen, scaring younger children who were not aware of these things that exist in our world, that they needed to wait till they were older to learn that people with disabilities exist. That was supposedly a thing that we were looking through on forums and message boards about how soccer moms allegedly erased like Chip Chase from Transformers, as well as I believe the one kid that was a cousin of a main character on the Magic School Bus show was supposedly soccer mom said that we were scaring children, that or that we were in unrealistic situations. And I'm like, so the rest of the kids were in unrealistic situations. Their teacher literally like shrunk them down and made them like get eaten, you know?
So
like,
once again, soccer moms were complaining about something because they were unable to just be a parent to their children and teach them things.
Arnold almost died in space by taking off his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the thing. Like, so stupid because when you think about it, a person born disabled, right? Captain America was sort of born disabled. He had like muscular dystrophy. Like he was born like really sickly to the extent he should be considered born physically disabled. And he proved he had the heart to take a super soldier serum, meaning that someone like me, the equivalent of like saying they could be a Captain America too because they wanted to be a hero to be damn hard. Probably if you inject that crap into someone who believes that they can be a hero or wants to be a hero, and by all means, that would technically cure them. Now, I'm not trying to, like I said, you can either cure them or have it be a temporary thing, or they can like give up the power and go back to being disabled. And there's so many ways you can write a disabled character. Because for me, I see it from both perspectives. There are days where I hate physical pain I go through, whether it be from my spine, whether it be from my legs that don't even work that give me pain, whether it be the actual muscle issues I've caused to myself, having to lug and drag myself around. Like I have dislocated this shoulder one too many times. I deal with a lot of constant pain that I wish there was like some kind of cures or fixes for me so I wouldn't have to live through the pain. But there's some days where I'm completely fine and content being in a wheelchair. I'm content. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need a cure today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. So it flip-flops. So it's like that. You could do so many ideas with people who are born disabled. They just want to feel it for at least once in their life. The meaning to be strong, the meaning to have that powerful body, that normal standard life of living, like walking, seeing stuff, hearing stuff. And then maybe they can just throw it away. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? There's so many complex ways of writing these characters. And that's the cool thing about that. It's the same as, making a person disabled and possibly curing them. There's so many ways you can go in that direction. You know what's even funny, though? Character that was made disabled that I actually think is interesting is Joe and Family Guy. Because Joe and Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane still made that guy be a cop for part of the joke. At the same time, I think it's actually pretty effing funny because make Joe be such a badass, a cop who's in a wheelchair. Like, that's a part of the joke. It's a part of the gag. But no other TV show would have the balls to still let a guy who gets crippled be actually on active duty. They would just be like, you're on a desk job now. You're maybe working with training the dogs now. No show would have the balls to do that. Like, I don't think a show like if original Walker Texas Ranger was around would do that. They'd cure him by the end of the episode, or they'd cure him by the end of the season. I don't think a show like NCIS could get away with something like that. So, gotta say, there are good people that were made disabled in their shows, or in their work of fiction, that are really great. You know, like Oracle is great. But I'm tired of seeing that be a crutch by media. I don't know why that has to be a thing. I mean, we exist. Why not use us? We are a medium for another type of story you haven't even told yet. You know what? I don't know directly with Ironside. That is before my time. I know he was a guy in a wheelchair that was a lawyer played by Raymond Burr. I forget if he just got in a wheelchair due to age or because I think he was also in the military or something. I don't know if he was always. But let that be the case. That's also a good depiction of a guy in a wheelchair. Mantis was also a good depiction of a guy who got made disabled.
Ironside was made disabled by getting shot.
Yeah, similar to Mantis. They both got shot, and Ironside became a lawyer and detective. Mantis was a super doctor that made a power suit to deal with corrupt cops and with issues with intercity problems. Oh, I mean, those are great also ways of making a character disabled and then giving them powers. But I do think that we need more wheelchair-like users, whether being born, made. It's weird, you know, like I think Sensory is one of the most used ones, at least from the 80s to the 90s. And even before that, being blind or deaf was a really big one that I remember being a trope, because even Walker Texas Ranger tackled blindness and deafness for a couple of episodes. So that's why I wanted to bring it up, is about disability pride. Is like, there's not days I'm going to love being disabled, but there are days where I'm like, no, I'm content with it. And I think we need more superheroes. We need more heroes in just fiction, whether it's super or not, that do what they do, but also have to have this, style of adversity for most of their lives, because it's different having to live through it versus having to adapt to it. And that's also a thing. And I've learned that was just a thing to try to build Emmys and awards, technically, at least with TV shows. So I don't know. It's so dumb, but I think that more people should like point that out to, writers that don't make a character disabled. Why don't you make already disabled and go from there? Like, stop acting like it's not a thing that, you're born with or not. Like,
stop treating it as a taboo. Stop treating it as a taboo thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's so weird that it's taboo to just be born disabled. It's weird. I don't know why.
I think especially compared to other stuff in life, you cannot control that. You can control sexuality. Yeah, exactly. So you control your sexuality and gender, but you can't control. You can't control. It's not like it's not like with transgender people where if they don't feel like they're in the right body, they can. It's
one of those things we can't change and get new legs. Versus, like, I do understand for some transgender people, it's a chemical imbalance where they were actually born, and they can't control that aspect. Just like there are people with certain sexualities where I believe.
Yeah, I do want to mention because someone brought up in the chat. Yeah, Ryan misspoke. He has words like backwards.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah,
but it's one of those things of like they at least have a fix for it. There's at least a fix for the situation versus a disability.
Yeah. Well, essentially, there is gender affirming care, but there's not disability. We can replace your legs if they don't work.
That's why, like Star Trek, I love the idea of like a future where they're like, okay, well, do you want him to have this disability, or like, do you want us to fix certain things? Because like that's the thing is like you can fix so much, and that's the smart thing, because like that's why like I said, it's a weird slope, at least mentioning like transgender sexuality, because like I said, there are some cases where sexuality you develop it later in life. Versus like developing it sooner.
I think everybody develops sexuality later in life because that's what puberty is for. But in general, like there is a difference. Like you're not a newborn, and you've figured out your sexuality from the day you're born, but you can be born physically disabled.
Exactly,
and you have no control over it. So
you don't.
But to add on to this, I'd say that like there's a lot of nuance and a lot of layers to character writing that can be done with people who are born disabled. And so it's something that a lot more writers could use to benefit if they want to have some deeper characters in their stories.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, the best way to just throw people that are born disabled are in superhero things, because superhero, because superhero stuff affects all kids' imaginations and stuff like that. So, like, when you're watching these shows, you want to emulate that or imagine that stuff. It's kind of funny, too, because, like I said, like, I loved the Tokusatsu element side of it. And I think it's the one that could give you the most thorough of ways of introducing a character like that, because of all the strange ways that the powers work,
I really like the idea of a wheelchair battleizer.
Exactly.
It's only really been one Tokusatsu where actually.
And that guy was also made disabled. Grandine was a person made disabled, and was to also promote the Special Olympics, which affects all disabilities. So that was one of those things. I really did wish Grandine was born disabled. That would have been really cooler for me. But Japan just, kind of copied Western society on that one. But be made disabled to be more.
Yeah, we need like a breakout hit to really change the narrative and to give the idea.
Like I'll say this right now, because I keep bringing up being made disabled. I was once told that I don't know how to reword this because I'm trying to remember this, but it was ages ago. But I literally was told along the lines of, "Oh, we don't feel as bad for you because you already had to be born and adjusted to it. But this guy is more tragic and sadder of a story. That's why more people flock to trying to help them with their issues, because they need the help." And I'm like, bro, I'm suicidal too some days.
That's completely bull because
of my issues. I'm like, how dare you say that this person who was in a car wreck and that who's now contemplating with thoughts. That's what I hate, was like being told that like my adversities to just having issues with life since the get-go wasn't as tragic as this person.
There's some people who was born with
disability. How insensitive some people are.
There's literally people who are born with disability literally like cannot live without like something to help them, for example.
I know, but I got told that this person made disabled was more important than me. Way more important than me. My issues.
Yeah. I think that's a problem with our society in general, is like a sort of downplaying of someone's adversity or problem they're having. It's like, oh, your problem's bad, but it's not as bad as this other person's problem. It's like, yeah, but this is still something that's a problem, like,
yeah.
And that's, it's, there's an episode of Chowder where Truffles is going off about like how her life is hard because she's like a fairy, and then like Schnitzel is like, of course he says it in rada rada rada, but he says something, and Mung's like, yes, Schnitzel, we understand that being a rock monster is just as hard, but this is Truffles' episode. Like, if you're helping somebody, help them with their problem, not compare them to someone else's problem. Right? This is like, it's a very Western thing that happens a lot, where it's like, oh, your problem's not as, oh, you're just depressed. Well, that person's, thinking of doing harm to themselves. So that's worse. But like, that doesn't, yeah, exactly. Matthews Laura put it best. This person is suffering. That other person is a crybaby. It's exactly how it gets treated. Do that.
I get hit with that a lot myself.
Mm-hmm.
My own parents would even do that sometimes. Like,
right, like we all subconsciously know everything could be worse than it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't make the feelings go away.
Part of it, you try to make it like a joke to try to cheer the person up, usually, but not be malicious about it. There's a difference. But like when a person actually says it with like an actual malicious tone, that's when they're not trying to cheer you up. They're just trying to be a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
They're trying to avoid, like, because I think it's the biggest issue with a lot of this is people. Yeah, it's as you said, people view disabled people as the freaks of freaks, and are or either always uncomfortable with their disabled people, even though they shouldn't.
Yeah, no, it's a real issue that I've dealt with on a few occasions, being told that, because I was bringing up issues about how I had issues getting vehicles back early on. And I had to have an issue again when my other vehicle crapped the bed. and get money to get it. Because people don't realize, like, for some reason, people will donate a crap ton of money if you're made disabled to help you adapt. If you're born disabled and you're trying to figure out how to get certain, like, funding that you're supposed to get because you're disabled, but somehow your paperwork falls through the government stuff. No, falls through the government, and then you don't have that funding and stuff, and then you're trying to find ways to get money, and then people are like, oh, screw you, this guy over here needs it more. And I'm like, no, we both need it equally, so why can't you donate some there and donate some here? Because, like I said, I've had to, like, renovate bathrooms, I've had to, like, get different vehicles, and obviously this person who was made disabled recently is going to need help too, but, like, you're forgetting about the people who are already here getting screwed over by whether it be the government not looking at the paperwork right when you're filing it, or just other situational crap where insurances won't cover stuff. That's another dumb thing, People just assume that, like, you have enough money,
Someone brings a good point.
It's dumb.
Someone said, I have heard people say, well, LGBTQ rights aren't as important as civil rights. We still need both. One isn't more important than the other. Exactly. Disability rights, LGBTQ rights, civil rights, just grouping it all together. If you group it all together as human rights, and we need human rights for everybody, no matter what their background is, that is our path forward, because these are not competing ideas. They are all shared under the same umbrella of
exactly, and
people that need help. Everybody needs help.
I just build off of that, because for me as a disabled person, when I'm on social media, all I ever really see are civil and LGBT matters. And I'm like, no, they deserve to have their help. The funny thing I see is how, and this is not a knock to them, is that they've been having to fight this fight for so many effing years, and the light on disability keeps getting kind of, like, shafted. Like, the civil rights and LGBT people will be like, oh, we got to help also the disabled people too. But then it goes right back to, no, you got to work on us though. Right now, go to them later. But, like, it's like, when is later now? Like, almost like the Spaceballs joke of, that was then, this is now. This is now. No, we can't go back then. Mm-hmm. That's where I get a little bit annoyed, because, like I said, disability can affect race, it can affect sexual orientation. So I feel like at this point we should be at the same level as them, or either we should be slightly in front of them and then go in the order of civil rights too, because civil rights have been a problem since the dawn of frickin' time. So have been disability, and more prominently in the last, I want to say, century or so, LGBTQ rights are getting. I feel like we need to either go in a progressional order.
I will add to that,
or just do it all at once.
I do it all at once is kind of where I feel like we're at, because I feel like right now the people that are regressing our society and pulling rights away from everybody are doing it all at once. They're hitting every group at once. So we need to fight for everybody at once, because it's like, if they're pulling it back all at once, we should be working together to bring it back all at once, and bring it back better, because I think we're at a very bad point, in at least speaking as somebody who lives in America, we're at a bad point in American society with the way that people's basic rights are being negated by hateful, bigoted people who got power by getting themselves in.
What was it recently that came on the news that, like,
affirmative action?
Yeah, if you're like LGBT.
Well, no, that's another one. Affirmative action was that every college that accepts applications must take every applicant for their skills and their background, regardless of their race or gender. But now that's been taken away, so they don't have to do that anymore. The people that benefited most from affirmative action were actually white women, which was interesting. Because essentially women weren't getting in. It was opening the door for people to come in, because they're required to look at those candidates as opposed to ignoring them. There was also a thing that, like, the Supreme Court ruled that you can discriminate against patrons at your business based on their sexuality or their background. And that was all ruling done on a case that was a made-up story. So, it's just all kind of a mess. And it just comes back down to, can we treat people like people, and stop having so much hatred towards others roaming around? That's where we're at, I think.
Yeah, so like I said,
yeah,
I know we tangented into actual human rights though, but like I said, at the end
always
of the day,
important. It's always important. So, yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just like it's Disability Pride Month. So if you know people who are disabled and are actually cool with their stuff, or want to just talk about how they're not cool but also cool with it, you know, down the middle, tell them about this month and tell them about how like we need more heroes actually like us. Like for me particularly, I need more born in wheelchairs, whether you're quadriplegic, paraplegic, etc. You know?
Might I add,
I'm
if
pretty
you
sure
know, if
we need
any
that.
of you know any artists who are in storytelling, who are working in, you know, consistently writing or drawing stories, maybe suggest to them the idea of a character that is born disabled. You know, maybe the thought has never crossed their mind. Is
First milestone hasn't been
Yeah.
disabled hero yet. Honestly.
I'm surprised too. But you know, if you guys all have connections, like suggest the idea sometime.
Yeah, because the thing I also told Soundout12 is, unless they're published like in Marvel or DC, we're probably never even going to see them in a form of live action or cartoon, unless, you know, Image blows up again and Valiant and stuff like that. It's very rare. We got to try to get it more mainstream so people actually are talking about this stuff.
Yep. And before we wrap up the stream, because we have gone, you know, half hour over, because this is important talk, I did want to read a couple comments. Matthews Laura said, in a class in my college psychology, I had a teacher talk about not to judge or qualify other people's pain. If someone says to you, my cat has died, this is the biggest pain I felt, that person is just as correct as a person who says, my mom died, this is the biggest pain I felt. Scrublord Gaming also mentioned a family friend who was born without his left arm, his right hand only with 2 fingers and missing a leg, was told he couldn't get disability compensation because he managed to find work, so then he wasn't disabled enough. And that's something that is the discrimination within the field of disability compensation is ridiculous. Those programs.
I've been fighting for 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
You still haven't given my mom anything.
My dad's got stuff that he's been trying to fight for with his sleep apnea. You know, so like there's, you know, all levels. It feels like these programs don't have enough funding, and so then they start discriminating within this when they shouldn't.
If it's like, oh no, we don't have enough money. Go after the lowest Kamen Rider first.
Yeah,
guys, this is a funny story about like these programs. I am one of those people that should be like the poster child for a program that we have for New York State, and no one ever told me about it till like the last couple of years of my years at high school, which was a thing that they would help to give you extra money, funding, so you could try to actually find jobs in your area that would hire you, or at least find, you know, ways to get you employed. I filed it multiple times, and they kept taking people that were still more able-bodied than me, but were also still qualified as being disabled or on other programs that it worked under, like people from poor families and whatnot. Supposedly, they were just not letting my paperwork go through because they saw me as, I think, too disabled for the program. Because everyone else I saw was like, oh, this guy's blind in one eye. This guy just comes from a poor family. This guy has like some kind of like lung condition, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, it's really screwed up.
It's so stupid because it's like, what is this? It's like, what? Yeah, super disability or something like that. It's like,
yeah,
it's one of those I dislike that, especially because it means that like, oh, you're more disabled. It's like, who levels like this?
Going back to the conversation we were having about you know, pain is like, why are we quantifying someone's pain against someone else?
Mm-hmm. Why are we leveling? Oh, this person has more troubles, has more problems. We should not get them. Oh, this person has less problems, so they're better for us. Like, what?
Before we wrap up, I do want to address someone's comment. Someone said, biggest fear in life is fighting for nothing. After all the fighting that's been done to help me live, I don't want to be torn apart. Fortunately, it's starting to happen. I understand that feeling because you can be. It's really disheartening when you are fighting for something, you're pushing for something, you're pushing for things to be better, and it feels like nothing is going well. And the way that I keep, you know, myself sort of together on that level is to remember that everything has a breaking point, and everything seems awful now, but eventually everything that is being done by horrible people, the horrible things being done by horrible people, will come back to bite them at some point. and that the only thing that keeps me going is knowing that that'll eventually happen. But it can be very frustrating. I have had, I've had days of just existential depression due to just the way that things progress and the news cycle that comes up. And it's hard where it's like not any of my favorite hobbies will keep me going. And sometimes you guys will see lower effort videos come out because of that. And it's just hard to keep going sometimes, but you just got to keep going because giving up is letting them win.
Soundout, I had to go on mute for a second, and I saw that from someone, and that was a rant I went on with Jerry Saturday morning. I went on a huge rant.
We did
what someone said, pretty much, essentially.
So someone, just so you know, we all feeling how you're feeling, and we got your back.
Yeah, so Jerry, if you don't know, I'm gonna read it again because Soundout read it. Was my biggest fear in life is fighting for nothing after all that's been.
Oh yeah.
All the fighting that's been done to help me live. I don't want to be torn apart. Unfortunately, that's starting to happen. Remember, I went on that rant. What was it, Saturday or Sunday morning? Exactly, you, Jerry. Yeah, you right now are dealing with a lot of issues and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's difficult. It's a pain in the ass. People who need the help aren't getting it. People who try to get out of these holes, finding ways to fall back in even further. Somehow the pit gets larger, and it's really depressing. Yep. It really is. And Soundout feels it. Jerry's feeling it. I feel it all the damn time.
I'm sure Ryan feels it
so
too.
Hard.
Yeah. Ryan feels it as well. We all feel it.
Yeah, we feel it so hard. We had to launch the Hero Club Patreon.
I think everyone in the world feels.
I think everybody in the 99% that aren't the top 1% rich people that are ruining it for all of us are feeling it. You know, I'd say most of us are feeling it.
No, man. Like seriously, that Hero Club Patreon though. If you want to help us out, check it out at Hero Club for Life.
And stay tuned for the Soundout Patreon. I'm gonna switch screens since Wheels turned his camera off. We're at that point. Hero Club's got a Patreon. I'm gonna have to be launching a Patreon soon, just because there's some massive upgrades that need to happen on a production schedule or production side with me. So stay tuned. For everyone that's on Twitter, because I know Twitter has been a nightmare. I'm going to be moving ahead with...
Speaking of 1%, that 1%.
Yeah, so Twitter's been kind of busted. I'm going to be working forward on the Discord protocol. The Discord protocol is coming. I'm calling it that. But
I just imagine like Hugo Shane Arcusi, like Protocol 10 has been initiated.
I like giving it a fancy name where it's just me screen sharing. Like, all right, here's what you do. Sound
exactly. The Discord protocol is Jerry walking me through it, but I want to make sure that because Twitter is just super broken. I know a bunch of us are just never going to leave until they kick us out, but
I mean it's so broken. Our buddy saw about Star Child earlier. He got a notice that he was locked, but just because he tried to DM a wrestler about a question.
Oh no!
And then immediately after that, he's able to DM and like and reply and everything. So he's like, "Wait, am I locked or not?"
Yeah. So Twitter's getting kind of broken. Nothing can really replace Twitter, but I do want to have like a little community space.
Backup.
Like a backup community space for all of us in the live chat, us in the voice chat. That way we can all kind of talk during the week. That way there's like a discussion space for those of us that watch the live streams. And then we'll also still do the live streams. Like this live stream is going to keep going for the foreseeable future.
I mean, who knows if we open the Patreon, we could do like private hangout stuff.
Yeah, I think Patreon exclusive live streams will be a thing as well. But there will be a Discord open to everybody. That is the plan. Is to have just to kind of to rough it out. I think the plan is to have like an open Discord for everybody, and then there'll be like a Patreon exclusive chat for Patreon members.
Did you actually link the Hero Club one or the TGF one?
Wheels linked one of them. Anyways, we do have a Hero Club one. We may just be we have the Geek Fighters Discord, but I will have a Soundout a Soundout Productions one. I want to give it a fancy name, and that's what's holding me up from actually just wanting to do it.
The sound cord.
The sound cord. That sounds weird. We'll figure it out. But once the Discord is launched.
What was the old your old podcast?
I was getting the dishes for dinner from my mother, Jerry. That's why I linked Hero Club first, and then I was linking yours after.
Cool. The Soundcast
gets theirs.
Yeah.
The Soundcast. We'll do something.
You know what you should call it?
Yeah.
No, you should call it Soundout.
Someone said the Sounders, and now I can't think of the Mike Sounders. No. The Mike Sounders.
You could always call it Sound Discord.
I don't know. We're gonna come up with something. We'll keep brainstorming. I like the surround sound. That should be just like a chat in the thing. But when that Discord launches, because I don't know, it might happen this week. If I'm just like, if I can't get anything else done, like video wise,
pat me on the shoulder. It's like, all right, show me.
Yeah. We might launch it. Maybe I feel like we need the safety bubble from Twitter. Like the Discord needs to be like the little like retreat bunker. Yeah. I appreciate the name ideas. We will definitely work with that.
It'll be mad.
That should be a poll. Next week.
Maybe we could do a poll next week. Maybe we could launch the Discord during the stream. That could be something. That could be kind of fun. But yeah, it'll be posted on Twitter, community section, all that. We'll advertise it. But I think we're going way over, and I'm going to keep talking because it's really hot and I'm melting. So
yeah, super.
Yeah.
Where can people find us?
Find you're already on the page for me. Like YouTube will always be the number one destination for everything related to the channel. Though I'll probably have like a production update section in the Discord that'll just be me posting like, hey, video, to keep up with stuff. But yeah, we'll develop more of that. Ryan, you go first.
Follow me at Dark Horse 4 on YouTube and Twitter. I take art commissions like the ones you see at the radio. If you want one for the DM and Twitter, though, definitely if you need to find you, maybe probably use Instagram more.
Yeah, we need to like open up our social media possibilities because I feel like Twitter might be almost broken beyond repair. So yeah. Jerry.
Well, don't be like Metal and go to Rumble.
Oh God, no, we're not going to Rumble. We're gonna go to things that people actually use, like Instagram and Discord. I need to get back on TikTok. Jerry,
what's the lesser two evils, Musk or Zuckerberg? I guess is the biggest question.
At this point, Zuckerberg isn't accidentally or intentionally destroying his own website.
My thing is to fuse them and make them worse.
You know what?
Ooh, I like Jerry's idea.
I like that. I like that too. The chaos option.
Exactly. The chaos in me says yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's my name, isn't it?
Exactly.
But yeah.
Someone's fan sitting Toronto of my fan in front of. It's okay.
Yeah,
we're all melting. Jerry, we're streaming tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Should be there.
I don't know if it'll be KOF. It's usually KOF. The only reason I don't know is because of how hot it is.
Yeah.
If it's so hot, I might be like, all right. Or I might stream it from my room. I don't know. But yes, I stream KOF. Most likely I will. 4 p.m. Tuesday, tomorrow, Eastern time, on twitch.tv/fightercows. I only don't stream on YouTube because I don't have enough subs on YouTube. They won't let me.
Yeah, for some reason they're really mean about it.
They just won't let me. It's not me not wanting to. They won't let me.
Yeah. All right, Wheels, you doing anything these days?
Just go to my YouTube channel for my old content. My new content will be there whenever the hell we get to it. So go check out Wheelchair21 on YouTube and Twitter at Wheelchair20 1. You can ask me about disability questions if you want, since I was so glad to talk about disabilities on the stream today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got our damn Patreon, because if you help us out with Patreon, we can get Sentai interviews. Sentai interviews, people.
We can't tell you who, but you're going to want to see this.
Just so everyone knows, when we're saying to subscribe to the Hero Club Patreon to make interviews happen, it's because they ask us for money to interview them.
Yes, Japanese agencies, talent agencies ask for money.
Well, without warning,
without any, exactly.
And without giving you an actual price, I'd like to ask us at least 4 to 5 times our yearly hosting payments.
Yep. So anything helps. Gladly appreciated. But yeah, we'll be back next Monday. There will be videos this week. 2 shorts, 2 full videos. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just pumping out videos. I got stuff this week. I'm still experimenting with shorts. The Marvel shorts seem to be doing the best. So those will keep going. But there's a Toku short tomorrow. So that'll be fun. I have to go finish making it, actually, because I forgot to finish it earlier. But we'll talk to you all later. We'll be back next Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Same sound time, same sound channel. And maybe with the sound Discord. So, actually, it doesn't sound as bad the second time.
Yeah, just tap me on the shoulder, like I said.
Yeah. So, we'll see how it happens. But see you guys next week.